Hello, my dudes, and welcome back to the Mikey and the Press Pass podcast. I'm Mike.
And I am David.
So, what are you enjoying?
Same thing you're enjoying.
Whoa,
Are you
what?
enjoying it?
I don't know.
Let's touch the test. No? Okay. The Aganorsa Leaf Signature Select, I think is what it's called.
Mhm.
And
And what are we sipping on?
Frey... What was it called? Fuck, I don't remember. Frey something. Frey Creek or...
Not as good as
The Bullet that we were drinking at the... You know... So you got like, okay, so we went on this tear where I was drinking Irish whiskey, and I traditionally don't like Irish whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, you know, we didn't drink for a while. Like we kind of like just, I don't know, just dried up. We just kind of like weren't in the mood or whatever. We weren't really drinking that much.
Mm-hmm.
And then I rediscovered bourbon. So what happened was I had...
What's that behind the counter there, buddy?
Well, what happened was, okay, so for the viewers that don't know, I really like bourbon and Mikey really likes Irish whiskey.
Look at the Irish.
Right. And so I'm not a big fan of Irish whiskey and Mikey's not a big fan of bourbon. But we both kind of like, as our second favorite whiskey is like, we like rye because we don't want to spend the money on fucking like a good scotch. So like if we get a bottle of the Macallan, we'll get rowdy on it.
Mm-hmm.
But as a compromise, we get rye.
Get all thugged out.
Right. So I got a fucking, like, I just got used to buying handles of rye because we used to cast at my apartment. And so I just buy rye by the handle. But then Mikey quit coming over, and I kind of went through the rye that was there because, well, what am I going to do? Not drink stuff at home? Like, that's not going to happen. And so I went through it, and then I, like, went to buy some more, and I was like, hey, Mikey hasn't been coming over. I could get bourbon. Like, I could just get that. And then I started drinking bourbon again. I was like, oh, man, I forgot how much I like bourbon.
Uh-huh.
And so now I'm kind of like, it's like, maybe you maybe just try this. Like, you probably just haven't had good bourbon.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, if I do like Irish whiskey more than I used to.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, I should just say I like Jameson and Proper 12.
Yeah.
But like,
I haven't taken a deep dive into other brands, but yeah.
Because my recollection of Bushmills was this, that I was like, oh, I don't like this at all.
I can get why people wouldn't like it, but...
And like Jameson, my previous recollection was just like, man, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it was probably because I took a break from bourbon, because bourbon is like more like, whoa, it's more like a full flavored cigar. Mm-hmm. It's not as like even keel. Mm-hmm. It kind of just punches you in the face a little more.
Yeah, I don't really need to drink that much of bourbon. It's like, yeah, that's, fills up my palate. I'm like, all right, that's good.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason that like, it's like, we drink that fucking Macallan, man. That shit's dangerous. I get like my girlfriend get mad at me like every time we get a bottle of Macallan.
Are you drinking the Macallan again?
Well, I had to.
I don't know.
She was like, you just got dry, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, we got a bottle of Macallan tonight.
Yeah, just get all crazy.
And I feel like I should just get a pass because I don't get that much.
Uh-huh. It's too tempting. I look at it like, I'm not super poor anymore, so I'm gonna get some of that.
Well, I'm pretty poor still. It's just not too poor to like. It's not cost prohibitive.
No,
it's not like.
Yeah, if we split the cost, it's really not that much.
Right,
and you get pretty fucked up.
Well, usually what we do is we trade off.
Yeah, it's like you buy one, I buy one.
Yeah, I got a bottle of Macallan. Like, oh fuck yeah. Uh-huh. And then it's not cost prohibitive like a bottle of like Johnny Walker Blue Label is. Like, oh okay, Jesus, that's like an evening's worth of fun.
Yeah.
And like, not even if I don't even eat anything, right? Mm-hmm. I gotta eat something too on top of that. And so even if I go Little Caesars fucking it's pizza, I'm still out $306 for one.
That's the pairing. Little Caesars pepperoni with some Blue Label.
I think Little Caesars goes with fucking everything. If you're drunk, I don't care. It's like delicious. Mm-hmm.
So what you been up to this week?
Not a real lot. I watched. I went through all of season 1 and all of season 2 of What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, nice. They're all caught up.
Yeah, I went through like even the episodes I watched. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just watch it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's easy watching.
So yeah, I just watched all 20 episodes of it, and like, because Diana was gone in Seattle for 5 days. So you came over one night, and then I had like 3 or 4 other nights to myself, and I just watched What We Do in the Shadows, like, and that was the thing I did. Nice. So, I don't think I watched anything else, but I caught up on that. I browsed Hulu a little bit to see what else they have. I'm gonna make my way through Cowboy Bebop now that I saw that they have that on there because
No
it's
devs.
one of my all-time favorite shows. I didn't stumble across that,
Huh,
but I
it's
mean,
on there.
I'm sure it is. I believe you. But you know, I would have ventured to guess that it's not as easy watching as Cowboy Bebop.
No,
what we do in the shadows.
Yeah.
So,
I'd be kind of curious to see someone that, or the series is out for devs, see if it's like, bingeable. Because when I was watching it, when it was current, it was week to week. So I don't know if it's one of those shows.
yeah, some shows are like I still haven't finished Raised by Wolves.
Yeah, me neither.
I gotta fucking finish that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
I like
good.
it
I don't know why I stopped, but
because it's just like it requires your attention and it's engaging and it's like thought provoking. It's not easy consumption. It's not the Macallan of television. It goes down smooth, little burn. So there's that. We shot some pool this week, so that was getting back in the.
My first time at that location, California Billiards in Newark.
Fremont, technically, I think. But yeah, same area. But yeah, I went there with Devin on Tuesday, I think, last week. It was the week before last, actually, because we talked about it on the podcast last week, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
it's probably one of the nicer. It is the nicest one I've ever been to. So, seems like it's a brand new place, fairly brand new.
I mean, it can't be that new. I mean, the table we were on hadn't been refelted since mid 2018, so it's got to be at least a few years old.
But it's not all run down and looks like shit like other pool halls.
Sure. But yeah, no, it was a decent. It's a decent place. A lot of space. Tables are pretty nice. Decent liquor selection. Decent food. Unlike
Yeah, they actually sell booze there.
Yeah, not just beer and liquor, but yeah, it's So it seemed pretty cool. The least ratchet of the pool halls I think we've been to.
Yeah.
So that's good. It was nice to shoot. Even, what did we shot for a little over 2 hours? I think we shot 8 games. Normally we can get about 12 games in 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And we shot 8.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the first 3 games were pretty long.
Yeah. So there's that, but actually I was kind of surprised. Like when I shot with Devin, I was like kind of surprised at like, I'm not as bad as I would have thought I would be for such a long hiatus.
The gap between the initial lockdown until the time we played over at Utopia, that was pretty rough going for me. It took me about 3 or 4 outings to get used to playing again.
You mean edgies?
Edgies, there we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say because we haven't played at Utopia in over a year now.
Yeah.
Cheese it.
Something.
Yeah, it's been over a year since we played at Utopia. I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that place is closed down.
That's unfortunate, especially because I paid for like a fucking month of membership, like 3 or 4 days before the lockdown happened. So they just took like $120 of my money that I'll never get back. That sucked.
Yeah.
Because I remember being like, why wouldn't I do that?
Yeah.
That's the reason. Because they
it'd be cheaper.
Just took my money and like they're like, well, we'll start your membership back up when we reopen. I was like, you could just get my money back though, no, right?
No.
Just when we reopen. It's like
non-fundable, non-refundable.
Yeah, so but whatever. I mean, that's fine. Yeah, it's a little, I don't know, it's not really any farther than Utopia was from my house, but it's just, 15, 20 minutes or whatever. So, not too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably going to be the new digs for a while for playing pool.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see kind of like, because before we were only playing D&D like occasionally, and we were shooting pool twice a week. I don't know about you, but I mean, I like D&D, but I'd rather shoot pool. And if it's between shooting pool and playing D&D, like I'm going to play pool every time. And so it's like, but it seems like, I mean, we went and shot on Friday, so that's cool. Maybe like Fridays can be pool day, but I'd like to shoot twice a week, but obviously can't go drinking every time. Let's get some fucking we had 2 drinks. And I had some food, and we were both out like $40. I was like, Jesus fuck. It used to be like $40 together for pool. It's like, yeah, you just gotta pay for table time because like you start ladling shit on top of that, and it gets expensive really quickly.
Yeah. I can take or leave drinking while playing because I never made it a habit of doing it. So it's like, I don't really need it.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a nice to have. Like, oh, okay, so last round, just fucking go for it.
Sure. Yeah, I like to have a couple drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Anything more than that, it kind of like impedes my ability to play, and it's not fun. It's not like bowling, where really bowling is just kind of like a
Just chuck it down there.
parenthetical to like drinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're just there to drink and just gotta throw the ball down the lane every now and again. And then people that are serious about bowling don't typically drink a lot while they bowl. But yeah. So that was cool. You know, it was nice to go shoot and
Had some restaurant fun before your podcast.
restaurant fun. Oh, tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to some place, Tehran? Not Tehran, that's a country.
Yeah.
No, maybe it is Tehran.
Tehran.
Hang on. Tehran. It's in Palo Alto. It's an Italian place. And, yeah, we went there upon the recommendation of somebody. And, not so great.
Not taking their recommendations anymore.
No, I mean, I will, but it's just...
This Olive Garden place? That, my friend, chef kiss. Endless breadsticks.
The food was just not that great. The service was... Well, to be fair, the service was good, but the kitchen took forever to get our fucking food out.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling you before the podcast, I was like, these people came in after us, after we had ordered our appetizers and drink. They came in, they ordered appetizers, they ordered entrees, they got their entrees, they got their appetizers, ate their entrees, ate their appetizers, paid their bill, and got the fuck out of there before we ever even got our entrees. And I was like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, that pisses me off more than anything else. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
is
and there was
this?
people sitting next to us, and I even like said something. I was like, well, these people came here after us, and the guy next to me, like, we were close enough that he like looked at me. He was like, he's talking about us. Like, they came in, they got their food, and they're eating. Right, they're eating already. Like, they're on dessert, and we haven't even got our fucking entrees yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, and no explanation. The kitchen's really backed up. It's like, but like these people came here after us.
Uh-huh.
That's not an explanation. The kitchen's really backed up. Now, if you had told me that whatever I ordered took a long time to make, like my old lady ordered risotto, and if you just said, well, we cook all the risotto to order because pre-made risotto is trash, which is true. Like, then we just make it to order and it's dynamite. But it's just like, it came out and she's like, that's pretty good. I'm like, well, we fucking waited over an hour for it. Like, it should be fucking awesome. But they comped our, because I'm the way I am, and I'm not going to be like, everything is great, because everything was not great. I didn't really like my food. It took forever to get there. So when they came over and they were like, how is everything? I just kind of went like, whatever.
No bueno.
I was like, meh. And she was like, well, what you just like, yeah, it's like not traditional pizza. And I didn't really have the heart to tell them. It's like, it's not a matter if it's not traditional pizza. It's like, this is like a cracker, like fucking basically pita with like just some prosciutto thrown on top and this gloppy cheese thrown on top. That's it. And it was like fucking $25 or something.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, this is not commiserate with what. He's like, oh, the guy came out. And so I was like, it's fine. I just,
You asked my opinion.
Actually, she didn't ask my opinion. She just asked how everything was. And I didn't tell her, like, this is not food that you should be charging this money for. I was just like, it's not what I wanted, right? Tried to be nice, but, like, I wasn't going to lie to her and tell her everything was great, because everything wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just like, it's just, it's my bad. It's on me. I just didn't know what to get. And, like, this is not what I expected it to be. And she's like, well, we can get you something else. I'm like, I ate half of it already. And I got places to be. And, like, I don't really want anything else. So just no thanks. But thank you. You've been helpful. It's not your fault. I get it. It's me. So she sends the manager over. The manager's like, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. He's like, oh, well, how are you liking everything? And I was just like, fine, everything's fine. Right? Just go away. I don't
Why are you lying?
Yeah, because I was just making more of a headache for myself. And he's like, oh, well, like, I'll give you something else if you want something else. And I'm like, I don't want anything else. I told the waiters I don't want anything else. I got this. It was a mistake. I don't want it. I'm not going to eat the rest of it. It can't be that bad. I ate like half of it. So I just whatever. My bad. I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to like skimp the waitress on a tip or something. Not her fault.
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh, well, I'll give you something else, like we want everybody to be happy. And I'm like, I'm fine, dude. I'm not disgruntled or anything. You asked how it was. Not impressed.
Mm-hmm.
And so they gave us free dessert. That was nice. And then I tried to tip the waitress like, I don't know, it was like $100 bill. I tipped her like $30 or something like that. It's like, here, just whatever. I just won't be back, but here's some money.
Yeah, you'll never see me again. Enjoy your tip.
Yeah, so I mean, it was fine. I mean, I will say the cocktails were really good. And the dessert was good. And Diana said her food was fine. Okay. She said her food was good. Like, if I gotta wait for like more than an hour, the appetizer was good. The appetizer was really good, actually. It's just my entree and the wait time. It's like, man, if you're gonna make me wait like well over an hour for some food
for a fucking pizza,
for a pizza that, keep in mind, doesn't even have sauce on
it. What?
It didn't have sauce on it. It basically was just like this baked. It looked like a pita bread, but it was like, baked with like this. I forget what the type of cheese is, but it's kind of like gloppy, like blob of cheese in the middle, and then prosciutto laid over the top of it. And from what I can tell, they didn't even bake the.
Not a pizza.
Well, I mean, like more of a traditional Italian pizza. And I was like, it just wasn't particularly good. It was kind of like, well, whatever, man. Like, fine, I guess it's my fault, because I was looking at everything and like one out of every 3 things on the menu, like ingredients, it lists like, this has mozzarella cheese and bliggity chapata and doopity peepity garabakatba. And I'm like, I don't know what any of these fucking things are.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to like look up all this shit. I'm like, well, bolognese, I know what that is, right?
Get a macaroon with some gravy.
Can I get some macaroni and some gravy? Yeah, I was that guy. It's just like an uncultured swine because I don't know what any of this shit is.
We thought the Germans were bad.
You thought the Germans were uncultured swine. Yeah, that was me. I was like, I don't know, man. I just want. I was gonna get ravioli, but I was like, it had short rib and the ravioli. I was like, I don't know about short rib and ravioli. It doesn't seem like it would work very well. But I was like, I'll just try the pizza. It seems like that's what they're known for. They have like all these things. I was walking in, I saw a bunch of people getting it. So I was like, if I've never been somewhere, I order the thing that they're like known for.
Yeah. And there's also a problem with places that are like fusion places or new agey type of ways, where I want to have like, I want the menu to have like the traditional stuff mixed with your like fusion crap. Cause I want to know at least their base is good. Right. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't really matter how crazy your ingredients are, but if your technique and your base is bad, the food's just going to be bad, right?
Right, and that's what I was thinking. I was like, this is a pizza. It's probably the simplest thing on the menu. So I should be able to judge a place based on the simplest thing in their menu.
Yeah.
If it's executed well. But like I said, the appetizer came out. That was heartening. We got just like the mozzarella fritta, which is basically just big mozzarella sticks. Really good. I got something called an Italian old-fashioned, which was tasty. Diana's food came out. She seemed pleased. And mine
mix a stuff in the straw. Yeah, get this right
there.
Just
mix it up. Let me tell you a thing or two about making an old fashioned, my friend. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny just like watch like. I am not above being rude to people at a restaurant if I get poor service. Okay, because I feel like I have a high watermark for putting up with like, okay, you're just trying to do your job and I get it. And like, so if you fail in some way, if I'm going to be rude to you, or let's just say gruff with you, you can bet your ass it's probably fucking deserved, because I cut people a lot of slack. Like you really got to fuck up pretty monumentally to just not get a tip for me, or for me to say anything anything rude to you. My general attitude is just like, if the service is that bad, I just won't tip and I won't come back.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, if things are not to my liking and it's not the surface, I tip extra well and then I don't come back.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but I'm not above giving people a piece of my mind, but it's like, it's just, if I'm anything other than completely satisfied and someone elicits an opinion, how was everything going? I was like, whatever. I don't know. Fine, I guess. It's like, I was just not prepared from that. I'm like, I'm not trying to be difficult. It's just, you asked how it was. I'm underwhelmed. Is there anything that we can do to make your experience better? And like, you You don't want to be pushed to the point where you have to be rude. Yeah, have better food at your restaurant. Have better service at your restaurant.
Can I have my hour back, please?
Yeah, it's like I've been here since 6 o'clock. It's fucking going on 9:30 now. It's going on 9 o'clock, and I, if I waited that long for some food, I mean, and it mind fucked me, then I'd be like, fine. But it wasn't even busy. She said it was busy, but I guess maybe there were people on the patio, so maybe there was. But like several people came in after us, indoors, sat down, got their food, were well underway, and so it's like, and she offered me no insight into that, like. Here, it's because of what you ordered, or because, just white privilege or some shit, like at least that would have been something.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Well, like we're just trying to serve all the minorities first because you're white and you have an easy time of it in life, and that's our policy at this restaurant. I would just be like, that's fucked up, but I mean, okay, I won't be coming
you didn't
back.
Read the sign when you came in.
I won't be coming back, but like, hey, at least you're just telling me like, hey, fuck off. So yeah, I don't know. But I mean, it was fine. It was nice to go out for a change, for the 4 more days while we can before they clamp everything down again, I guess.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. What about you? What you been up to?
Finished up Age of Samurai on Netflix. It was good. I'd recommend it if you're into the historical stuff with the reenactments and all talking heads and like I talked about last week. I was going to say Jordan B. Peterson's 12 More Rules to Life.
He wrote a sequel to that book?
Yeah. So he kind of expanded on that, on his original book, and it's fine. Actually, no, not fine. It's good.
Okay.
And it's kind of him harping. There's a little bit of him harping on the media and kind of was there's a little bit of harping on that one. He kind of hides it in his stories. And there's a little bit more of insight on if you're familiar with his stuff with maps and meaning.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is that noise? He kind of adds that into the book too, like a lot of dissecting a lot of popular stories, Disney stories, or popular fables, and kind of picks apart at it as a psychologist.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, see, that's my biggest problem with Jordan Peterson as a general rule. Is he has some really insightful things to say. And he speaks about science, psychology, in his wheelhouse very comprehensively. But the biggest problem is that a lot of these Jungian archetype concepts that he speaks on are not as well established scientifically as he has a tendency to kind of talk about them both as if they have equal scientific veracity. And that's my biggest qualm with him, is it's kind of he's imprecise with his distinctions between things. I think this came out a lot during his debates with Sam Harris, which is when he's speaking about things that he's comfortable with and he's educated on and that are scientific, the backing of the scientific community, he's incredibly knowledgeable. And then he has insights about things in culture, but then he almost kind of takes some of both of those and conflates them with don't get me wrong, some of his Jungian concept things when he talks about Disney films and all these, but these are not fairly well established psychological or socio phenomenon. They don't really have
sometimes he reads in too deeply, whereas I don't know why that's the pull for most that as a popular culture thing, why it rose to what it is, as Lion King or whatever. That's we were drawn to those stories because subconsciously we think about these things,
right?
And I was I don't know about that, but it's an interesting read.
Sure, but it's that's my biggest problem with him, is that he just talks about the Jungian archetypes and the collective unconscious as if it's as well established of a scientific phenomenon as say the Big Five personality traits, which he also is fairly expert in. And so he does that a lot, where you see this a lot when he talks about religion, and thus the crux of the whole debate between him and Harris about the nature of religion is that he just kind of gets fuzzy with stuff a lot and doesn't clearly delineate his position, mostly because he has a decent amount of charisma and he kind of magnetism to him, and so he speaks with authority because that's what people with charisma do, is they speak with authority. But the problem with that is that you conflate things and you don't crisply delineate your area of expertise and authority. This kind of harkens back to, did you ever watch Deepak Chopra debating Harris?
No.
Okay, this was embarrassing. I don't know if you know who
Quantum.
Yeah, you know who Deepak Chopra
Yeah.
is, right? That guy's an embarrassment.
Uh-huh.
And like Harris just,
What's his deal? I don't really know what Deepak Chopra's deal is. What is he?
he's an idiot.
No, but what's like supposed to be his background?
Actually,
Is he like a guru or something, or is he like a scientist? What
no,
is he?
that's the thing, is that's what makes it so egregious, is he's like an endocrinologist and he has like a PhD and like he has like credentials.
Oh, okay. I thought it was some just dude.
I mean, he kind of is.
Because no one ever talks about his background. I'm like, who is this guy? Oh, it's fucking some woo peddler.
Yeah, he's a crack. He's a quack. But I'm sure you've probably seen clips of it where they're talking about Harris is talking about, like, I'm not an astrophysicist and I would never presume to lecture a room full of 1,000 people on astrophysics because I don't know much about astrophysics. He's like, scientists are very comfortable speaking in a very, very narrow band of things. You're as likely to see true arrogance at a scientific convention as you are to see nudity, because everything is placed with all these caveats about, like, I'm sure somebody else in the room knows more about this than me, and that's because scientists are constantly worried about being spared public embarrassment, which seems to be not an issue for you. And then he's just like, yeah, this is why everything you say is so deeply unscientific, because you just don't, you're not an astrophysicist either, and basically every single sentence you utter demonstrates that. And like, yeah, so that's similar, just like it's Harris and I think Michael, Michael Shermer is.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like him and Chopra, and then someone who, from what I can tell, never says, like, that's on Chopra's side of the debate, never says anything the whole fucking debate. Like, yeah,
like, no, I'm not touching this.
I don't want to be here.
Oh, he's Indian too?
I think it was a woman, actually.
Oh, okay.
But maybe an Indian woman. But yeah, so like you see some of that come out with like Peterson too, which is that he can be guilty of quackery, but that doesn't mean that his books necessarily are. But so did you find it? Was it like insightful, like clean up your room and then like put your things in your closet kind of situation?
Not that was the first book, really, and then it's him explaining, is like, yeah, I went through some real difficult times, and people kind of, he mentioned in the book, is like, yeah, I made a video, and people were like, damn, your room's super messy, dude, what's up? And he was like thinking about back on that time. He's like, yeah, I think that was the time I was like going through anxiety problems. My wife had, was diagnosed with cancer and all this stuff. I was like, yeah, it kind of just was a kind of just all the mental stuff became a physical thing within my environment. So I was like, yeah, it does show up once in a while. You try your best to do it, but when things happen in life, it happens. But the thing is, you need to get back on the horse and get everything done again.
Did you see that thing or like that I sent you with Jordan Peterson orders like McDonald's?
Yeah.
Did I send it to you? It's
Yeah.
like, that guy's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it depends on what you mean.
Yeah. So that's good. I found this little section on Audible where they have all these like radio plays, and it's pretty awesome. It's basically just like it's a multicast audio reading, and they have all the sound effects. Like, I'm opening up the door, load my gun.
Oh, like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so there's a couple in there. I saw one with Aaron Paul and a whole bunch of other like known actors and stuff like that. I just got into it, so I'm like, probably gonna listen to that this week.
So it's like TV basically, but not
Radio play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I hardly ever hear.
Yeah, well, it's because it went out of favor like once television became a thing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What do I know? I listen to fucking records.
Old music.
You get new music on vinyl too. Although that does feel weird to me. Certain types of music on vinyl feel weird to me. Like I feel like I couldn't listen to a heavy metal album on a record player.
No.
I don't know why.
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they print those.
I'm sure they do. Print them? Press them. Right?
Yeah.
Press?
Sure.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, well, that's cool. Book radio plays. What are the plays about?
It's murder mystery.
Ooh.
A lot of murder mystery for that genre. So.
Well, it's like a format that kind of lends itself to it.
Yeah. It's not Little Orphan Annie or like The Shadow.
What evil lurks in the heart of men?
Mm-hmm.
The shadow knows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a couple. Yeah, I didn't listen to The Shadow, and that thing is super fucking boring.
I don't know that I've ever actually
like
listened to it.
Yeah, the early, like when podcasts first came out, there was one that was released, and it was The Shadow and some of like the classics. And yeah, that format was like, I think it's like 15 minutes or something like that. And they're super short and not very interesting. But when you only have radio, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
So,
it's not really any other options.
Not very engaging. It's like, Ovaltine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Don't forget to drink your Ovaltine. A crummy commercial? Son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's about it for me for this week. Oh, and watch some UFC. It's been a weird 2 weeks for the UFC. There's both main events, or the main it's the top draws of the cards were all no contests.
The top
billing fights, maybe the first or second one. Last week there was a championship or contender fight, and there was an illegal knee to a downed opponent that was ruled as a no contest, and the main card for this week was an eye poke. Yeah, it was fucking bad. The guy was going for a jab, opened up his hand and fingers straight in the eye.
Ouch.
It was bad.
That's bad.
Yeah. So
the
guy was freaking out too. He was like, "Can't see out of my eye." He was fucking freaking out. I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'd be scared."
Yeah, especially because I've seen fuck that one fight we watched where that guy got a thumb in the eye,
mm-hmm.
and the fight went on, and then you saw him after the fight, and his eye looked fucked up, and you were like,
"Oh,
geez,"
yeah.
And that fight went on.
Yeah, that was a DC Stipe fight.
Yeah, oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, it was a heavyweight fight. So yeah, this one was bad. Even the guy DC who was commentating was like, "Yeah, it looks fucking bad, dude."
Yeah,
eye swollen up immediately, blood was coming out of it.
Yeah,
it was but luckily, from what I heard from Twitter, he was regaining some sight back, so that's good.
The eyes are the groin of the face.
Sure.
They are.
Uh-huh.
Just go for the eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of drama when it came to a lot of the two UFC events that came out.
Who won that Amanda Nunes fight last week?
Oh man, Nunes.
I figured.
Just beat the brakes off of Megan Anderson. Oh my god. Yeah, because it was Megan Anderson was kind of billed as the person to beat Chris Cyborg, who was the former champ a couple years back. Because she's
yeah, she kind of fell out of favor, right? She kind of fell off.
Yeah, she got knocked out by Amanda Nunes, left the UFC, went to, I forgot what organization. But Megan Anderson was the champion for Invicta FC. She was her build was kind of perfect as a striker. She's 145, I think, 145, 6 foot tall gal.
Yeah, because I didn't know much about her, but what I did know about her, it wasn't like she was some fucking tomato can.
No, she had a rough run though in the UFC, so it wasn't a clean sweep. She was the clear contender. A lot of ups and downs. She does have a lot of problems with wrestlers. Grappling's not that great. Striking can get there, but it takes her a little bit of time to warm up, it seems like. And especially the caliber of fighters are coming out of in the UFC were a lot higher than some of the organizations she was in. So it was kind of her holes were very apparent. And coming up against someone like Amanda Nunes, she's been pretty much flawless for the last 2 years.
How many fights does she have in her belt now?
Oh, I don't know. She's a 2 division champ, and she's been defending both belts.
Yeah, because I don't think, like, that's why I was asking, because it seems like she's, if not already there, certainly like a contender for like just like the best female MMA fighter ever.
No, there's no doubt in my mind. She is
Right.
the greatest of all time in women's MMA, and you could make an argument she might be the best, one of the best MMA fighters ever.
Compared to the field, I would say, yeah. But then again, like, I mean, it's like, I mean, like, that's why I asked how many fights, because it's like, how many fights and how many fights against different opponents?
Oh yeah, I gotta look. That's a lot.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a lot. She's beaten every other champion in both divisions, and even the division she doesn't even fight in, she beat the champion there.
Yeah.
So it's like, who else is there?
Is there no one else?
I know, there's no one else.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, who's she gonna fight now? She's a fucking. Here, let's just take a look. Spell that right. Hey, first try. Shows what I know. All right. She is okay. So the lioness, bantamweight, featherweight. Okay, that's not. Yeah. 25 fights, 21 wins, 13 by knockout, 4 by submission, 4 by decision, 4 losses, 2 by knockout, 1 by submission, 1 by decision. Let's see, mixed martial arts record. So I think the losses came to that one broad, the fucking Zingano chick or whatever her name is.
Oh, Cat Zingano, yes.
Yeah, yep, that's right, Cat Zingano. And then who else did she lose to? Apparently Sarah D'Elio, D'Elio, in a decision, and then Alexis Davis. And then wait, what is this? Oh, this is going back. Oh yeah, and she lost her first fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's. But yeah, I mean, she's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 wins in a row. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty crazy. That's like almost. Well, I don't know if she's been defending it. I don't know how many fights she's been defending those belts, but I don't know. It's pretty close to like Anderson Silva. I think it's at 16, 13, 12, something like that. So
yeah. But I mean, that's just like unequivocal, right? I mean, it's just at what threshold do you just say like, okay, well, you're just the best? I mean, I would have to imagine at this point it's probably pretty close, just to being like, okay, well, you just win, and you're just a detriment to the sport because you're just so much better than women. Like women just like, I don't even want to. I was gonna go into MMA, but instead I'll just do something else.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to fight. I'll just wait till you retire before I come up.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing too. If you're like a double champ, like what do you do? Like you're gonna grab both divisions if you're that good, and where's the money fight after that? There's no one really else to fight. There was no money fight in my mind. Like she beat Ronda Rousey, she beat Chris Cyborg, Holly Holmes, she beat up.
Yeah.
Who else? The Bullet. Valentina Shevchenko, she beat twice. One was in a regular fight, one was for the belt, and she's the champ in the other division, and she's been unstoppable. So it was like, who else do you have?
Yeah.
Like you could probably make a Valentina fight again just because it's champ versus champ, but I think they already did that. But you can make a better case now because she's been doing so well, but at the end of the day, it's like a fight we've already seen.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the problem, though, right? Is like there's 4 weight divisions in female MMA, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to think that, like even if you just took all of the women in all of the weight divisions, you think there's even 200 active fighters?
Oh, in the women's division, no.
Yeah, in all 4 weight classes, right? Like probably maybe like 100. And then it's like when you select for weight and then you select for elite talent, it's like then you're down to like 8 or 12 fighters in like, say, the 2 divisions that you fight in. And then you beat the fucking brakes off of like 5 or 6 of them, and you're one of the other, like, and there's just nobody else. Like, what are you going to do? Like, I'll just sit around and wait for someone else to get good.
Yeah.
And for me to get a little bit older, and then maybe if I come down a couple clicks and this person comes up a couple clicks, it'll be like, whatever. But yeah, that's part of the... I mean, in a way, it's kind of a good problem to have, where it's the antithesis of the problem you have in boxing, which is there's so many fucking weight classes. There's so many different, like, sanctioning bodies that, like, the best fighters really never fight each other. Every great once in a while, you get a fucking Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. Like, every great once in a while, you get something like that where the stars align and it's like a fucking ridiculous fight. Where it's like, oh my God, like, it can't help but be fucking good. But, you know, mostly it's just people just kind of like plunking away at like some random fucking weight class. And you're just like, oh, what flyweight? What weight is that again? I don't remember. Like, it's just, okay, yeah, it's not Mayweather's weight class and not heavyweight weight class. So who fucking cares? And, you know, but there are thousands of boxers. It's like eking out a living. But you can't really say that for female MMA. So it's kind of a nice problem to have, but yeah, it kind of means that she probably is going to just get idle because... But at least it seems like she's not getting Ronda Rousey syndrome, where she kind of like believes all the hype, or she's like not staying sharp. Like that was the biggest problem with her, is she just... I think she just bought into her own media creation.
Oh, yeah.
She was like the greatest thing ever. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to...
Yeah, the craziest quote I've heard from Ronda Rousey is like, the girls don't deserve to beat me. I'm like, what?
Yeah. So they're like Holly Holmes. Like, oh, fucking tear her
off that bitch.
It's like, really? Because she seems like a pretty fucking legit contender. Like, you don't seem to be taking this seriously, which you probably should, because you have 6 fights under your belt.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that she got caught up in her own hype because, quote unquote, her hands were really good for a grappler, and then she just, you know, believed her own hype, like you said. It was like, I'm gonna outbox her. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah. Buster, it's just like, it's that to me, I saw that as kind of like a mirroring of the Tyson Buster Douglas fight. Just Tyson's like, whatever, that guy doesn't have a fucking shot. And meanwhile, he's fucking like doing the whole Mr. T in Rocky 3 thing, where he's like fucking training his ass off. Like, this is the fight of my life, right? Like, I'm fucking going after it. I got all this to fight for. Like, my dad just died. Like, I want, you know, like, just, he's all super motivated. And Tyson's like, whatever, come on, let's fight. Oh shit. Oh no, I'm not invincible. And it seemed like the same thing happened with Holly Holmes, and because she fucking, it wasn't even like, oh, it went to a decision and Ronda lost. It was like she stepped on her fucking neck. Like, he fucked her up. She was like, yeah, I couldn't eat apples for like 6 months after that. It's like, yeah, no shit. That's what happens when you just don't take somebody who's like all the things your body's like, oh no, she's a legit contender and she can fight with you and it's gonna be a thing. And you're just like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but she was just steamrolling chicks in the beginning.
Sure.
Like, yeah.
Steamrolling like 6 or 7 ladies.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
In the first round.
Sure.
Yeah. So.
Sure. Fucking Tyson knocked out fucking 19 consecutive guys in the fucking first round or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, but that doesn't mean he was invincible. Obviously, Buster Douglas proved that. Evander Holyfield proved that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you know, for Ronda Rousey, to give her a little bit of credit, she was just, that aggression was never seen in any women's division up until her. She basically she ushered in the women's division to the UFC.
Sure.
Her alone.
And she will always have that legacy.
Yeah.
Is bringing women's MMA to the forefront. Like, guys.
Yeah, there's no denying that what she did.
Fuck yeah. Like, guys like, that I never even heard talk about MMA, let alone women's MMA. Are you fucking new Ronda Rousey fights coming out? Like, since when do you fucking even like it? Combat sports. You're like a basketball guy or whatever. Like, yeah, but man, like, she's just like, oh yeah. Like, cool. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, she brought the fire though. So
yeah. You know, good for her. Well, speaking of which, we were just talking about this last night at the pool hall. It was, I didn't look up the actual anniversary. I think it's the 50th anniversary of Ali Frazier 1.
Yeah, I said like 30 is like 30. 91?
Well, I think I said 35. And I was like, that's not right. It's like, we're older than that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think it's 50 years. And it was funny because it was coming on at Aloni, and the shop was full, like a bunch of black dudes. And I was like, oh, we're watching this, right? There's a bunch of black guys in the shop. And they were like, hey, can you turn on like the basketball game? And I was like, and I walked in there, I was like, you guys don't want to watch Ali Frazier 1? And they're like, nah.
I've seen it.
I watch that shit on ESPN Classic. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like one of the best boxing matches like ever. Like,
yeah, it's like if like No Country for Old Men shows up, or fucking like Shawshank Redemption shows up on TV. I'm like, no, okay, it's time to sit down now. I had stuff to do, but I'm just watching this now.
Yeah. And I don't even like Shawshank all that much, but it's just like I can't help but watch it. It's like one of those movies that for whatever reason I don't really particularly like all that much, but I feel compelled to watch it. I'm the same way with A Few Good Men. You ever watch that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why, but like I can't help but watch that movie when it's on. Like it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. It's a good movie. It's not a great movie. But it's when it's on, man, I'm like, oh, I'm fucking know what I'm doing for the next 2.5 hours and watch the rest of this movie.
That's the only thing I miss about having like cable TV. Like spontaneously have something. I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch this now.
Yeah. Oh, I think what it is it's like it's one of those movies that I can pick up at any juncture of the film, and it's interesting to me. Sometimes I'll pick up a movie and I'll be like, I already missed like the part where it's the thing and whatever, and it's like, I'm kind of like remembering where. But like any point of A Few Good Men, I like remember where the plot is, and it's an easy enough to follow plot, and just it's got a great cast, you know, like everybody in that movie is just like got really dynamite performances. It's just I don't know, but it's not like one of my favorite movies. If you said like, what are your favorite movies, like it wouldn't even make probably the top 25, maybe even the top 50 movies. But it's just when it's on, gotta watch it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch this. And it gets the part where Jack Nicholson gets a speech about you can't handle the truth, and you want me on the wall. Like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do that. And then Tom Cruise, he comes back. It's like, you're a fucking officer of the United States Army, and you're gonna arrest you son of a bitch. It's like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, Tom Cruise. Yeah, and fucking Kevin Bacon's being all Kevin Bacon. It's like all the right components. I don't know why.
Yeah, we should make a list for that.
What movies you have to watch?
Yeah, movies you have to watch, even if it's in the middle of it.
Yeah, for me, Conan the Barbarian's on that list.
Oh.
I don't just Conan the Barbarian just hits some primal chord in my brain, and I'm just like, oh yeah, there's a part where he kills that fucking snake, and it's about to get all cheesy, and like it's got so many good like over the top sword and sorcery lines in the film. Mostly they're the actual actors, right? Arnold doesn't have very many good lines. Most of his lines are, you killed my father, you took my father's sword, you know. But the part where Max von Sydow is like, the jewels cease to sparkle, and all that's left is a love for the father for his daughter. And you're like, oh wow, Max von Sydow is awesome. Right? Or I think my favorite James Earl Jones line is like, they're all absconding away after they like they kidnap the princess away from the little cult or whatever, and he's like overlooking them like run away on horseback, and he's like he's seemingly like, it's because this is James Earl Jones, and like there are people with him, but it's almost like he's not talking to them, he's just talking because he's James Earl Jones. And he says, infidel defilers, they shall all drown in lakes of blood. Now they will know what it's like to fear the night. Now they will know while they are afraid of the dark. And it's like, damn, dude, like, who are you saying this to? But like, it's fucking scary, right? This is James Earl.
Like, is he talking to us?
It's like, I don't know, is he talking to us? But I'm fucking scared for these people over here that are running away. And yeah, and then Mako's in it, you know. It's like, oh man, yeah, everything about it. I'm just like, man, I gotta watch this shit for whatever reason. There's some other movies like that from the 80s too. Terminator, like every time it's on, I have to fucking watch. Because it doesn't matter where it is. You're never more than like 5 minutes away from something awesome happening. Yeah. In Terminator. Because Terminator 2 for that matter too, is always dope. It's like a long
Matrix.
Yeah, Matrix is like any point. Probably just because I think it's because of the way the movie is blocked off.
Definitely.
I think this is part of the reason that, like, as much as I'm fucking tired of watching it, the reason that, like, we watched Sicario so many fucking times at West Coast is because that movie is just brilliantly blocked off. Like, every single blocking of tension leads you to, like, want to get to another blocking of rising tension, which is part of the reason it's such a brilliantly made movie. And so it's like, yeah, like I get why it gets fanfare. Is just you can come in at any point, and you're either in the midst of or like partway through an arc that leads to another arc that like comments on the overarching arc of the film.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just sitting around waiting for like, you know, him to say like, Luke, I am your father or whatever.
Hey,
No, I
Sicario, you're done with your burrito? You want to get out and kill people or what?
Yeah.
No.
Because yeah, I mean, it's like all of the tension in that film, like, well, mostly I would say like after kind of the bridge conflict, like I could probably like stop watching the movie at that point, but everything that blocks up to that bridge conflict in Sicario is like so well done and so well laid out. And most of Denis Villeneuve's movies are like that. With the exception of Arrival, I don't get why everyone liked that movie still. It's like I just don't. I don't know. Do you ever end up watching it?
What, Arrival?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched Arrival.
I don't know. You never gave me your impressions on it.
But I liked it.
Where do you think it falls in the relative? Because like I liked it okay too. It was like it was fine, but like,
are you talking about the other movie he did? Because we talked about Arrival a whole bunch.
did we?
Are you talking about what's the other one with Natalie Portman?
That's Alex Garland.
Oh, okay.
You confused Denis Villeneuve and Alex Garland. Alex Garland is Ex Machina and Annihilation, both of which are fantastic, I think. And Villeneuve is Incendies, Prisoners, Sicario, Blade Runner, Arrival. What else did he do? The other one with
Dune?
No, he hasn't done that yet. The one that you just saw recently, Enemy.
Yeah. Woo, that was fire.
Enemy's a good
that
fucking...
movie was fire.
But like when I hold it up like against those other films, like Prisoners and like Sicario and Blade Runner and like all those other movies that he's done that I've seen, it's like Arrival is just kind of like the weakest of the lot. But
yeah, I would agree with it. But like as it's the thing as it stands alone by itself, it's a fine movie.
Yeah,
yeah, it kind of departs from most science fiction movies and. Yeah, the whole time dilation thing is like. Right.
I just found it really, really tropey. It was just like super tropey to me. It was like, oh, that guy, and like, oh, they don't like each other at first, and it's like, oh, the whole commentary is like, oh, man will destroy himself. It's like, what is this, a 1960s episode of The Twilight Zone? Like, it just feels a little played out. It was a well executed movie based on very tropey concepts, and. It was fine. I like Amy Adams. I like Jeremy Renner. I like most of the components of the film, but they don't gel in that way that like it doesn't blindside you the way fucking Enemy does. Enemy's a quiet movie, man. It's like so.
Yeah, it's so quiet and sleepy. It kind of just like at the end you're like, what the fuck?
And it stays with you. Is what's good about it. It just stays. It just stays there, and you think about it.
As a long finish.
Yeah, it's a long finish, exactly. And so does Prisoners, for that matter. Prisoners is just like a very layered film, and then like Blade Runner is just like a technical achievement. And so it's like, yeah, I mean, I like Arrival fine, but I mean, of all the movies that you're going to give this guy accolades for, it doesn't seem like the one that you would really hang your hat on. So I don't know. It was like, what did Leo end up winning an Oscar for eventually?
Revenant?
Right. It's like, to me, that was like, seriously? He doesn't say anything for like 2 hours of the fucking film.
I think it was a gimme. He's like, just fucking give the guy one, dude. Come on. He was in the cold. He was cold. Look at him. He's cold.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't.
It's like one of those things where it's kind of a shitty thing to give an actor. Is like, he has to suffer to make his art. It's like, how about he just does a really good job in the movie and you give him a fucking award for that shit?
I mean, to be fair, like I said, I kind of, like, oh, he didn't win this year and he didn't win that year. And it was like, yeah, but when you look at like the movies he was up against, like when you look at the actor, like when you used to say like, he didn't win for Wolf of Wall Street. What the hell? He was great in that movie. So sure he was, but did you see Dallas Buyers Club? Because McConaughey is fucking awesome in that movie.
All right.
Yeah, and the movie's like a B, but McConaughey's like a fucking A+. Like that between that and True Detective is what like turned me around on McConaughey.
Yeah.
Because he was fucking fantastic in both of those things.
I'm just out of calories. I'm just really skinny, so I got to use my acting skills.
Yeah, he was super skinny. And
I was kind of depleted in my cum.
Yeah. I mean, he was no Christian Bale in The Machinist, but he's pretty close.
Yeah.
But his performance is probably better than Christian Bale's in The Machinist. That's a good movie, too. It's an underrated movie.
Machinist?
Yeah.
You know, I like Machinist.
Yeah. That's an underrated movie, man. It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good. Jennifer Jason Leigh is good in it. She's an underrated actress. She's a very good actress. She might be like among my favorite actresses. Like almost everything she's in, I'm like, man, she's so fucking good. Like I always forget. She's one of those actresses I forget how good she is until I see her in something. And I'm like, man, I feel the way about Josh Brolin too. Like I always forget how good Josh Brolin is in like everything he's in.
Oh yeah. Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's in Hateful Eight, and there's a great scene in there.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know. I don't want to spoil it, but it was just like a great scene. I was like, okay, I get why people like her.
She was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Never seen it.
I know, but she's in it
Mm-hmm.
with Sean Penn and Phoebe Cates, and she gets overshadowed by Phoebe Cates because Phoebe Cates is so fetching. But Jennifer Jason Leigh is a much better actress than she is. She's also in Dolores Claiborne. She's really good in that movie. And like, yeah, I think that's part of the reason I like that movie so much is like the movie's not great, but it's got like
What movie?
Dolores Claiborne.
Okay.
The movie's like probably like a C plus B minus, but it's just got like it's got Kathy Bates and Jennifer Jason Leigh in it, and they're both two of my favorite actors. And so I was like, oh man, I'll watch this. This movie's good. Like just Kathy Bates being all Kathy Bates.
Mm-hmm.
She's so good and everything.
Recently, Chris Davis started watching Westworld.
Mm.
It caught me like I'm itching to watch some Westworld. I'm like, well, I don't know when the next season's coming
I
up.
know.
I think it's better time to catch up again. Kind of forgot some of the smaller plot points in that series. So I was like, maybe it might be time to go rewatch that series.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like I should watch it all the way through once and then go back and watch it. So I want to wait till it's like over. I did like in that episode of What We Do in the Shadows that Evan Rachel Wood makes an appearance
Yeah.
because she's super good.
I was like, why is she in this? I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know, whatever. I don't care. She's sexy and talented, so it's like, yeah, whatever. She could just be in stuff, and I don't. Probably she's just bored. I'm just bored being so talented. I'm just gonna, because yeah, I said that like in what was it, season 2, like midway through season 2. I was just like, whatever award you can give anyone for acting, like she deserves all of these fucking awards for like just being the best in like a television show. Period.
Yeah, she doesn't do much other things other than Westworld from I think.
Not right now.
Yeah.
But she's been toiling in obscurity for like fucking 20 years, like honing her craft. She was a child actress. But I've never seen, and I've always enjoyed her acting, but I've never seen a movie that she was in that I was like, wow, that was a good movie. It's like you watch it and you're like, oh, she was good in it.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Ryan Gosling in Drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Drive is fine. But like Ryan Gosling's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ryan Gosling's pretty good in most things he's in. He's just not in very many really good movies. Blade Runner notwithstanding. And so you see him in something good, and then he's good, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that gels.
Oh, he's good.
That gels finally.
Uh-huh.
Whereas, you know, some people never really find that like big break. But for her, Westworld, it was like her big break. And so, and it's just like, and good for her because she's just been like sharpening her fucking craft for like 20 years. Because she's like, what, Westworld, I think she was like in her early 30s. Because she's like almost our age. She's like 34, 35, 36, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, she's been a child actress for a long time. And was just in a slew of fucking bad movies because she's, I don't know, she has like some, I think it's because she's kind of weird. I don't know if you know much about her personal life, but
No.
she's kind of fucking weird.
Yeah, I heard the whole hubbub with Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, she dated Marilyn Manson. She's just kind of weird,
Mm-hmm.
but like in kind of like a hot way and kind of like
Edgelordy
yeah,
way.
she's kind of edgy and
She
kind of,
dresses up like an edgelord too.
yeah. Whoever did her wardrobe for season 3 of Westworld is fucking like, just give that person like whatever, because she looks dynamite in every scene. She's wearing like a different outfit in every scene of every episode, and she just looks good in everything. Like, it's like, man, it's like the what's her name in that weird chick in Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, I've only seen one episode, so.
Oh yeah, like the gal in Queen's Gambit like always looks good. Like she just always like, whoever like, just this fits your body type and this color scheme, and like you'll look good in this, and she just looks good in every scene of this whole show. Not quite as much as Evan Rachel Wood in the season 3 of Westworld, but but pretty close. So it's like, yeah, his costume design is good and suits that character and that person and that actor. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, she's kind of weird, but like kind of like an edgy way, kind of like an Jenna Malone kind of way. I don't know who that is. She's kind of weird and just fucked up, which probably makes her a good actress.
All right, let's go into news. Got any news?
A little bit, yeah. I got.
Okay, you want me to start off first?
Sure.
Beeple NFT sells for 69.3 million, becoming the most expensive ever.
Beeple?
Beeple. I mentioned this guy before, Beeple Crap. He's on Instagram, and he's kind of famous for making like digital art every day for the last 13 years. And yeah, he's a really good artist. He's done other stuff, but a piece of digital art sold for 69.3 million at Christie's Thursday morning, a record amount money paid for a new but booming category of art called non-fungible tokens, or NFTs. It quickly places the artist known as Beeple in a rarefied world previously occupied by artists creating physical work. So yeah, this started to get on my radar about 2 weeks ago with NFTs. It's basically the non-fungible tokens is basically it's on the backbone. It's using blockchain technology, and the backbone of it's on Ethereum. So unlike any cryptocurrencies where you can trade it for coin, the non-fungible tokens are unique to itself. So it kind of helps digital artists sell their work. So if you designate this piece of digital art with this token, you are the sole owner of that token. So therefore you own this piece of art.
That's peculiar.
Yeah. So now it's been a booming business since Beeple put out his work, because he was doing the piece he sold is called Every Day, the First 5,000 Days. And it's just a big collage of all his work he's done. And he's been selling some of his individual art on other places, and they're going for thousands of dollars. Like, this alone was 39 million. I think he made like over, I want to say like, I know it's over 10 million he made selling his individual work on other sites. So yeah, I think it's just the big boom for it. I don't know how, like, there's like a ton of people are like getting on the bandwagon of NFTs. Like, basically any digital thing you can attach an NFT to. So there's people that's been taking pictures of like Pokemon cards and selling his NFT. Like Jake Paul or whatever, the Paul brothers did that. And and they've been selling that. Some people are selling their tweets as NFTs and all that crap. So it's like, it's a very odd thing.
Yeah, that is an odd thing. It was funny because I was kind of a similar conversation with my uncle about this gal on Instagram that we both follow, whose name is Lois VB, Loisvb. So she's this artist from the Netherlands, and she's really good, and I like her stuff. And it was like, and my uncle turned me on to her, and he was talking about how he's like, man, I bought some books from her, and they took like a really long time to get here, and the shipping was like as much as the fucking books, and they just arrived and like just fucking thrown together, like they just didn't place any care in shipping them. And so I contacted her and was like, hey, like, I don't know what that's about, but like, I just want you to know, like, I don't know if it's your publisher or whoever deals with this shit, but like, they don't seem to care that this is like a valuable thing, right? These are art books that you sent. They just kind of threw it in some shit and like hauled it off to me, and it just didn't really whatever. And I'm not complaining. I just want you to know, like, if this is commonplace, like, they're not taking care of your work. And she was really nice, and she was like, oh, well, thanks a lot, this, that, and the other. And then he was like, yeah, he's like, I asked her about something about, like, if she does like works. And he's like, yeah, you know, she's like, I don't really list them on my site and stuff, but like I do originals. And they're, you know, if you want like a price list of stuff, I can send you something. And because he just went and got a bunch of stuff framed. And he was telling me, he was like, yeah, I was expecting to spend like $2,000 because I had like 12 or 13 or 14 things that needed framing. One of which was that Godzilla print that I got him at the Silicon Valley Comic-Con a couple years ago. And he was like, I'm finally getting that fucking framed. And I'm like, oh yeah, dope. And he was like, just went in there and just told the lady, like, just whatever you think is best, just tell me. He was like prepared to be out like $2,000. They came in, it was like $1,200. And he was like, oh, that's nothing. Here you go. Like, whatever. Just give me the shit. And I guess he was looking into getting some of her prints. And he was just like, what do you, he was like looking at it and he was like, look at the price. And he was like, this is like, it's like $300 for like an original piece of art that she did. And he's like, that doesn't seem right to me. Like, you did a live video of you drawing this piece of art that has 5 million views.
And it's $300.
Yeah, and he's like, let's just say you halved it, like those half of those people are actually like interested and follow you, and then another half of those people are like people that you would call
He didn't say that to her, did he? He was like, let me buy it, and then we email you after what you fucked up.
No, he was just like, I don't, like, this doesn't make sense to me. This is like and you don't even list it, right? It's just like, it's $300 for something that like people want you to draw live, and it's like $300, and like 5 million people like saw and liked that shit. That doesn't seem like enough money. Like, what are you doing?
It's not my best work.
Because it's like, it's digital art, right? And that's just the way people are. And you know, it's fine. It's like, because someone like her, like, she's actually talented, right? It's not like this garbage modern art bullshit that goes for like tens of thousands of dollars. That's just like, just gobbledygook, right? It's nothing. It's just fucking garbage that you have to have some super pretentious, like, jack off, like, modern art philosophy to like surround it to feel like it's important when it's just garbage. Any normal person would just be like, my 5-year-old could paint that. Like, and
my understanding about modern art is that it's just a big scam where a lot of rich people are trying to like launder their money, and they do it through fine art. Like, they find people, they do this, pump them up, buy the original work, pump up that artist, sell that. Yeah, so it's usually kind of a weird thing with that. So
no, but there are some people that actually buy into that garbage. I know, because my girlfriend's ex-boyfriend is one of these people where he's just like super into modern art, and she's just like, and I remember that was like a litmus test when we got together. We were talking about,
how does this make you feel?
Well, we were talking about art, right? All kinds of it, film and books and fine art and whatever else. And she just asked me, like, I don't even think she asked me. I think she just said something about modern art, and I just went off on this diatribe about
no kidding,
fucking terrible modern art is.
Well, that's way out of what?
Yeah.
You? Weird.
Hey, if there's one thing you can say about me, it's not that I'm shy about my opinions. I want you to know all of my opinions before you get to speak again. And then you can just decide whether that's okay or not. And then if it's not okay, then we can just go our separate ways. It's fine.
I will be leaving now. Do not follow me.
It's like, yeah. And so, like, modern art is one of those things that just pushes a button in me. Probably because, like, I grew up, like, appreciating art, and I used to draw all the time. Drew all 4 years of high school, took art.
All your drawings?
I was all doing all my drawings. And so, you know, and my uncle is an artist, a doodler, you know, and my buddy Matt draws, and like, and so like, and they have some semblance of talent, and then I see this other garbage that gets appreciated.
Can your uncle put an NFT to our piece he did for us? We could.
Sure, he could.
Oh no, wait, that's an actual drawing. You can't put an NFT to that.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can. The JPEG you can.
Yeah. I don't know. You really, it doesn't look like me. Yeah, it does.
Who's this Mexican guy?
I never said he was perfect, but well, you got to keep in mind that he knows what I look like because we've been related our whole lives.
He just looks in the mirror.
He just had the one picture of you. He's like, okay,
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying.
You fucking like it. Stupid. I mean, I don't know. I think it looks like your nose looks a little wider and flatter than it does in real life.
Yeah. It's only one picture. So.
Yeah, but no. So it's like when you know people that are artists and actually talented and like they toil away in obscurity, like, oh, I just do these doodles for fun, right? And like whatever. And it's like, yeah, well, you're good, and this guy is garbage, and he's famous, and you're not, right? It's like whatever. That makes.
Am I mistaken? He drew like a picture of Natalie Manuel and didn't know who she was, or met her. That's what it was.
Oh, the chick in
Game of Thrones. Masendi.
Is it the same chick that plays Domino?
No. Oh, okay,
it's
different
the
person.
chick that plays Domino.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jazzy Beats?
Is that her name? I don't know. But yeah, I guess what happened is when he was living in Chicago, the chick that played Domino in Deadpool was friends with this gal that worked at the coffee shop that Kurt used to go to. And he was like doodling her one day, and then he was talking.
Shout out his Instagram. Who are we talking about?
Huh? Warpig. That's my uncle. WHERPIG. Warpig. Check his doodles out. It's good stuff. Yeah, he was talking to the gal that worked at the Starbucks, and he said something about her like having a new movie coming out, and he was like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" And he's like, "Oh, the chick from Deadpool." And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." It's like, "Yeah, you sat right over there and like drew her for like an hour the other day. She was waiting for me to get off work, and you talked to her and were friendly. She's the chick that plays Domino in Deadpool." And he was like, "Oh, I didn't know that. I just thought she was some gal." It's like, whoops. Yeah. So yeah, apparently that's how it goes. Like, oh, okay, that's a thing. Anybody ever tell you look like Barry Melrose? All the time. You're Barry Melrose, aren't you? Hey, it's my buddy Steve Levy from ESPN. Oh, hey, what's up?
Did you actually say that to him?
Yep, just like that. Oh, hey, what's up?
Hey.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You ain't shit. You just talk about stuff.
Yeah, I don't know you.
This guy's a coach.
Yeah, well, he was for a minute.
It's like Wayne Gretzky, man. How is he?
It's like, I don't think the Sharks have a chance in the Stanley Cup this year. It was sort of like when the Kings in '93 played the Canadians, and everybody was like, yeah, no one's beating Patrick Waugh this year.
Hey man,
I don't care. I don't care if you got Gretzky on your team. Like, Patrick Waugh is the man. Like, remember that? Oh yeah, that's right. You remember that acutely. But anyway, well, it's good talking to you. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. But yeah.
Yeah, so this was an interesting way for digital artists to make a buck.
Yeah, good.
Cool.
I don't
Good on them. Yeah,
they can make money. All the people that probably deserve more money than they get, it's just artists in general. As long as they're not modern artists.
Yeah, and it's crazy to me that like people like. Well, I guess he's known in that community as the dude that makes a picture a day, and yeah, it's like third. Like, was it third largest payout amongst any living artist ever? Fucking crazy.
Yeah, I was talking about this with my old lady today because we were talking about Lana Del Rey getting canceled or whatever, right? She made a few missteps and that's it for her. And she was like, it kind of disappoints me because maybe she won't like be able to get her next record distributed. And I was like, yeah, but so what? Like, you know who Lana Del Rey is, right?
Yeah.
If you go a while,
she already has clout.
Right. If you go a while without hearing from her, you'll just be like, I wonder if she has a new album. And you go find it and get it. The same way that like who fucking cares if Louis C.K. is canceled? He was canceled and he was like, oh, I put out a special, and everybody just went and saw it because everybody loves Louis C.K. because he's fucking hilarious. Canceled or not, like, he can just do that. And I think Lana Del Rey is probably on that same level. Maybe not quite on that same level, but certainly close. So
yeah, it's great during this like digital age where they can just do their own distribution and publishing themselves.
Right, because you could say, like, that's what I said to her. I was like, let me just think about it this way. If Lana Del Rey put out a new album and it was not distributed through a major record label,
I don't think she'll have a problem selling them.
I was just like, you like her, right? And if you knew all the money would go to her, what amount of money would be cost prohibitive for you to buy the record? $100? And she's like, no, I'd probably still buy it. I'm like, there you go. Like, there's probably not a money that she could price it at. Like, if you like her and you knew all the money was going to her, you would just be like, yeah, whatever. Like, just give her all the fucking money. It was like my bit with Dave Chappelle about, like, Dave Chappelle does 12 minutes of stand-up, and if it were $100, I would just pay it if I knew that money all went to Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Because there's no amount of money that you could tell me that it probably like wouldn't be worth it if I knew Dave Chappelle got that fucking money. I was like, he's a genius. He's a comedic genius.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just like, I just give it to him. Like, what people make billions of dollars on the dumbest fucking things. They're not nearly as brilliant as Dave Chappelle.
Uh-huh.
And so, like, whatever. Like, I'm poor, but like, just have my money, Dave. Like, just take it and
Well,
entertain
thank you,
me.
David.
Right. And I'll watch that 15 minutes of comedy and reference it for like the rest of my fucking life.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm still referencing George Carlin bits from the 1960s and shit, you know? It's like, they're still useful to me. And so if that's what it is, then great. You know, it's worth every penny that I might have paid for it, regardless of how much it is. Because I wouldn't even remember how much money I paid for like a George Carlin fucking album or whatever back in the day. I would have no clue. I'd just be like, whatever I paid for it, it's worth it because I still remember all the things he said.
Well, COVID.
AIDS.
Anyway, what do you have for news?
Well, we were talking about Marvin Hagler died.
Yeah.
I didn't look up what he died of, but he died.
Boxes.
He was boxing shit. He's only like
66.
66, yeah. That's a fucking shame. That's just sad to me. Marvin Hagler, one of my favorite boxers of all time. And certainly I would argue the best middleweight, or certainly in the around the middleweight division. It's like I told you about that earlier this year when Canelo won his fight, and Marcos, my old roommate, like posted like, "Oh, Canelo is the GOAT. Like, yeah, he's the middleweight."
Well,
GOAT.
hold on.
Yeah, I'm just sending Marvin Hagler's Wikipedia stuff. Like, I just read that and tell me if you still think that this guy, who is like good, I'm not saying he's not good, but like this guy is like the fucking man.
Well, he's
right?
the reigning king, but he's not probably the GOAT. You need a little bit more time.
Yeah, he needs a lot more. Marvin Hagler is just fucking beating up people for like a decade. Like, I'm pretty sure he has the most title defenses of any middleweight. And like, not only that, like as a middleweight, his fucking knockout rate was like fucking like approaching 90%. That's like heavyweight knockout rates. Like, middleweights don't get knockout rates like that. It's just like beating the fucking brakes off of people for like 7 or 8 years. Like, yeah, that's a shame. Like, I should have paid attention to what he fucking died of. I'm sure it was something random and weird. Steamroller ran over him or something. Something cartoonish.
Fought Thanos.
He fought Thanos and like
He got snapped away.
it's like, damn, man, fuck. But yeah.
R.I.P.
But yeah, I mean, if I had to like, of any weight class of boxers, he's probably cracks the top 7 or 8. Joe Louis, Joe Frazier, you know, Tyson, Hagler, Willie Pep, like one of the best fighters, period. But yeah, so that saddened me. I didn't really get much deep into like what happened because it doesn't involve boxing, so I don't really care. If it was like he died boxing like a moose or something, I'd have been interested, but it wasn't that. So it was like I kept stopped reading. I was like,
Fought a tiger.
He fought a tiger and lost.
Oh, you got tigers?
Yeah. But yeah.
Burger King UK under fire for tweeting "Women belong in the kitchen" on International Women's Day.
Fuck yeah. Oh, damn. Oh.
Burger King attempted to highlight gender disparity in the restaurant industry with a provocative tweet appearing to have backfired. On Monday, which is also International Women's Day, the Twitter account for Burger King UK tweeted, "Women belong in the kitchen." In a series of subsequent thread tweets, a fast food giant pointed out the lack of female chefs in the restaurant business. If they want to, of course, reads the following follow-up from Burger King, yet only percent of chefs are women. We're on a mission to change the gender ratio in restaurant industries for empowering female employees with the opportunities to pursue a culinary career. But that was hours later since that first
They tried to be woke,
Yeah.
and it just didn't work.
Yeah, and then I guess they took out a ad. Whoa, loud noises.
Sorry. Whiskey.
Yeah, and apparently they did like a big, like a 1-page ad spread, I think on New York Times, I want to say, that this like, the big headline was like, "Women belong in the kitchen," and a whole little smaller text explaining all that crap. And someone pointed out they spent like, 6 figures on that ad, but that little what do you call it? Not tuition. Scholarship was for only 2 women, and it was only going to amount to like a couple $1,000s. So they spent more money kind of white knighting this thing, and they're like, we're only just going to get 2 women. Actually.
Well, yeah, that's kind of like, that goes in line with like what people like to do, is like make a big to-do about like something, and then really just, it's not, oh, it's all for women. It's like, yeah, it's, I mean, I don't know.
It's great, but you kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Really bad.
My girlfriend went on a diatribe on National Women's Day about that shit. She's like, doesn't like National Women's Day. She thinks it's stupid. She's like, I don't need a National Women's Day. Like, right, women are a part of history, and when you earmark us off like we're some sort of special case, like lowering the standards for some retarded kid or something, it just feels dumb. It just feels obnoxious. It's like Morgan Freeman's rant about Black History Month, right? About how we just like, I don't need it. Like, Black history is American history, and we should do a better job of like teaching the contributions of
highlighting it year round rather than just once a month.
Or just incorporating it into the things that we do. You know, I feel like they should have highlighted, like YouTube or somebody should have highlighted Harriet Tubman and her bad bitches drunk history, because that's a really good Women's History Month thing, is one of the better drunk histories, and talk about like how cool Harriet Tubman is. Like, she coordinated all this shit. But yeah, I don't think she's off the mark there by just saying, like, it just feels a little, it just feels like a little like you're just getting special treatment because everyone thinks that you need to be handled with white gloves, and that just doesn't seem, that seems counterindicated to the whole purpose of the situation, which is that, you know, women are important to history because, well, they are, because just about anything that important that's happened, there's probably some sort of woman adjacent to it.
Yeah, they didn't invent much, though.
That's probably true. I don't know. But women aren't really so much with the sciences, you know. They invented nursing. You should be sympathetic to that.
They just named the thing that they naturally do. Cool.
They just named the thing they naturally do.
Yeah.
Well, your people are really, you know.
What?
Like the Filipinos.
What?
They're really into nursing, aren't they?
What?
Filipinos?
Are they?
Aren't they? I thought you said that one time.
Nursing. Your cousins are nurses. Your uncle is a nurse.
what was the other one? There's nurses.
A mailman.
Mailman? That's so fucking weird.
Your cousin's a mailman. Your uncle's a mailman. Be a mailman.
That's so weird because those are like I can't think of.
They're like government jobs for some reason.
But nursing's not a government job.
Well, because their parents are fucking old as shit. Like, you're going to take care of us when we get very old.
Yeah.
All the medication you're going to give us.
But like, mailman's not even like a good job. Like, it's like the dumbest fucking job ever. Just deliver garbage. I
respect mailmen.
I do not. I don't.
You do a good job, guys. I like it.
And female men.
What?
Let's not discriminate here.
Huh? Male person?
Female man. I like female man. It sounds, because it got a good ring to it.
All right, you do you.
Female man.
Go ahead.
It's a female man. But yeah, it's like, whatever. It's like, it's a fucking stupid job. Why do we even have mail carriers anymore? It's not rhetorical. Why? Why do we need them? We don't. We should get rid of the United States Post Office. Like, just get rid of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to exist. Like, you have Amazon, you have US, you have like a UPS.
Oh, USPS?
No, UPS. You have FedEx. Like, anything you need delivered, you can get delivered, and like most everybody could just be, your bills and everything can be digitalized. So what do you really get in the mail that you need? Anything? What was the last thing you got in the mail that you needed?
Passport.
But does that need to go through couldn't it just go through FedEx or UPS?
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Especially because it
was international, so it was DHL.
If you rewind to when we were kids, before UPS and
yeah, but the thing is,
FedEx,
if you don't need the service, you don't pay for the service. That's the thing, right?
What do you mean?
like this your whole argument around being like, oh, the federal government doesn't need to fund the USPS because it's just a waste of money. It's like, well, it's funded by the public. Like you buy a stamp, you're funding the United States Postal Service. If you don't use their service, it doesn't matter. All these other services then that you're thinking of, they use it, but you're not using it yourself. So what's the gripe about?
But what's the point of having it?
Just send mail. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it.
And I don't think they're entirely funded by stamp purchases.
A lot of stamp purchases, first class mail, other parcels.
But I just like don't know why we would even have it. Like, why do you even need it? You could just get rid of it. I mean, like, whatever. I'm just like it just seems to propagate junk mail. That's all it really does.
Uh-huh.
I'm just like, I mean, like if you're saying that you know that for a fact better than I do, I'm skeptical that it's wholly funded by it wholly funds itself.
Uh-huh.
I'm really skeptical of that.
Yeah, and it's kind of fucked up because they're kind of handcuffed by a lot of bills saying they can't raise their prices. Like, we can't be competitive and do all these things. Now, there's laws where we can't raise our first class mail stamps.
That's stupid.
I know.
If you're going to compete in a competitive market, if they really are just totally funded, self-funded.
Uh-huh.
But I seem to recall listening to the Going Postal podcast on like the whole Going Postal phenomenon, and I seem to recall like hearing something in that podcast that was contrary to that. But I don't have any hard data to back that up. I will say that I'm skeptical that it's wholly funded by those things.
Where's your evidence?
I don't need evidence. I didn't make a claim. I just expressed skepticism at your claim.
Mm-hmm. I did my research.
Okay, well, I believe you then. But I'm a little skeptical still.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I just like
if you don't like it, don't use it. That's kind of simple.
I don't have a choice but to use it. They just dump junk mail in my mailbox all the time. Here you go. Throw this away from me, would you? It's like, no, I won't. I don't want to. I think we could get by without it. It's like pennies. I think we could get by without pennies too.
Yeah, I don't know why we have pennies.
The copper lobby, I guess, is probably the short answer.
Yeah.
Was the copper like, we need them, And you're like, no, we don't need them. They're really expensive to mint, and they're not worth anything. Yeah, but look at all these jobs we provide for people who work in the copper industry. It's like, well, not really the role of currency to provide people jobs. It's supposed to be substantive for our culture in some way. But okay, all right. I'll like if you're saying that like they're just wholly self-sufficient and self-funded, then I will tentatively believe that and retract my statement that we should do away with them. I think we should still just do away with them out of practicality, but like if they're like they can stay afloat on their own. I just don't know how they could. Like you said, they can't raise their prices. And it's like first class mail and stamps. And like so many people work for the fucking post office. How could possibly just the sale of stamps? When was the last time you even bought any stamps?
A week ago.
What do you use stamps for?
To mail stuff?
Like what though? The
DMV forced me to.
They forced you to buy stamps?
Yeah. How am I gonna mail this thing to they said like, oh, there's something wrong with your address. Just make sure it's like confirming that you live here. I'm like, I can't. There's no URL.
Dude, bro, that's a scam. That's a scam. They're trying to lock you down and pin you down so they can keep tracking you and put microchip in you. That's what they do.
Oh, I heard this like the whole thing with the vaccine thing. They're putting microchips. I read it on the internet.
I heard that already.
I'm like, oh, okay.
I heard that months ago from a fucking cigar rep, no less.
Like, hold up. You have a cell phone, right?
Yep.
Do you have a debit card too?
That's pretty close.
Do you live in a house?
The smart meter's murder.
Yeah. They're tracking you, and you're willfully doing that because you have a smartphone with you. So who fucking cares? No, who doesn't care? But they're tracking you anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't need to track you by those means. They already have a way of tracking you.
Yeah.
Which is you give them all of your information when you purchase shit.
Yeah, metadata is more valuable than physically tracking you.
Yeah, why would they care where you are? They
Yeah.
just care what you do, which
Yeah.
is they don't even care what you do. They care what you purchase,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what, propagates the machine. Like, what are you purchasing? It's like any rewards program. That's why rewards programs are all fucking scams,
What?
because they're just,
Are stamp programs a scam?
well, that's an analog thing. So actually, no, that's not. But anything that's an analog thing like that, it's like when you ever get that? People are like, hey man, did you do our rewards program? Like, I don't do that. And you're like, no, it's a physical stamp card. And they go, oh, okay, that's fine then.
No, I still get people freaked out by that. I don't want any of that. Right?
Generally speaking, it's like, I get it, I don't, yep. Because that's what rewards programs are. It's like, okay, you're going to tie and anchor your purchasing to some sort of data that we have about you. And then we're going to get information about your purchasing habits, and we're going to give you some sort of benefit about those purchasing habits, because in the long run, we are able to adjust prices and the economics of things more tailored to what it is that you purchase based on demand. So we know that if you purchase X, Y, or Z for X, Y, or Z reason, X, Y, or Z time or day or time of year or whatever, then we can adjust the prices accordingly, like the way they do that with Black Friday deals, right? So if you look 4 or 5 months before Black Friday, the prices of things are typically about what they are on Black Friday. So what they do is they just, like, 4 or 5 months before, they raise their prices gradually over the course of 2 or 3 months. And then when Black Friday comes, they just put them back down to what they were like 4 or 5 months previously. And you think you're getting a big deal, and they get a big spike in sales. And then they just gravitate the prices up. That's just the way it works. Because there's nothing that says that you can't, like, the government can't control what you can charge for shit, right? And that's good. That's a good thing, right? It's not bad. I'm not suggesting that they should be in that business, but it's still just kind of like a 3-card Monty of, like, confusing you into thinking that you're getting a good deal on something. It's the same thing with the rewards programs typically, is they just kind of, drift the price of things up. You wouldn't notice like a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 cent increase in something over several months, because why the fuck would you?
Plus, they're big ticket items, so why would you know?
What's a big ticket?
Like, how often do you buy a TV or a refrigerator or any of those blockbuster deals that they make? How much are you in the market for that all the time? You wouldn't know.
Right.
It's like, oh, it's cheaper because they said so.
Right.
So it's like percentage off. That's a deal.
Actually, I was thinking about clothing stores and stuff like that.
No,
but
usually when I think Black Friday, it's usually electronics and stuff like that. So it's like, how often are you in the market for that stuff?
Exactly. And so you don't know, like,
Yeah.
and how much are you really going to notice a 3-cent increase on your coffee over the course of 3 or 4 months?
Mm-hmm.
You notice when something like I filled up gas today, and I noticed that I was like, why did it take so much to fill my tank up? I was like, oh, because gas is $4 a fucking gallon now.
Where the fuck do you go?
I went to the 76 over by my house and checked even when I drove to Fremont. The gas prices there were like $4 a gallon.
Wow, you're going to weird places.
When was the last time you got gas?
Last week. And I've been checking regularly. It was like, oh, I'm kind of price checking like places around here, places where I live. It's about $3.60 something.
Yeah, I don't know.
And yeah.
I don't know. Today was the first day that I've noticed, because I went and got gas a couple weeks ago, and it was fucking like $3.10.
It's like the $20 rule. It's like, what? Wait, hold. It's over $20? What the fuck?
Yeah, right. That's so the guys of you listening that don't know what the $20 rule is. This is, generally speaking, is the $20 is the threshold for amount of money that's not consequential. So it's like, if somebody gets you something, you say like, hey man, I'm up at Loney and we got these cigars. Want me to grab you some? And you say like, you bring, hey, I got you these cigars, Mike, and then he'll say to me like, how much was it? And if my response is to be like, don't worry about it, I'll just say less than $20. Like, it's less than $20, so like, who cares? It's not a consequential amount of money, which is a bad way to think about like your money management. It really is. But
yeah, it's so bad.
But it's really bad.
Because like at the end of the week, it's like, where the fuck did all my money go? Where is it? I leave it under the fucking bed.
I went bankrupt on $7 or $8 purchases, which is how you go fucking bankrupt.
Yeah.
But in general, it's like,
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Right, among friends, it's like, what is fucking $20? Because frankly, like, if you just said, like, hey, do you have $20? And you offered no explanation, can I have $20? Like, we're friends. I'd just be like, yeah, sure, here you go.
Yeah.
like just we're friends, so it's enough for you just
I'll buy some stamps.
right. If you just you just ask. If you just ask,
I'm not even going to use these stamps.
You just ask me for $20. I just give it to you, just to I don't know. Just
We got
like,
those Susan B. Anthony
It's
stamps.
like cost of doing business, right? You want to have friends, you get to pay for it occasionally. Anyway, so this week in woke news,
Okay.
was so I guess Meghan Markle went on the Oprah,
Oh.
the Duchess or whatever, and she went on the Oprah with her.
Oh, is that because of the other one? The Harry and... Oh, that's Meghan Markle. I don't know why I got confused with like some other person.
Oh, probably the Prime Minister of Germany.
There we go. That's why.
Yeah. I get them confused too because it's Elena Merkel. I think is her name, right?
Yeah.
So it's like whatever, it's fucking not American sounding shit.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, so what happened is, Piers Morgan is.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, so this is
so
what
butthurt.
this is what's so fucking funny is that I don't really like Piers Morgan. I don't really. I mean, not that I don't like him. I don't know him.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't say that he's
not
someone.
your fancy.
He's not somebody I'm typically sympathetic to.
You don't fancy him too much.
Not really. He's kind of just whatever. But so what he said is, I guess he used to know Meghan Markle or something.
Yeah.
And they had like this falling out. And then so what she did is she went on Oprah. And she said on Oprah that like she had struggled with depression, and she's had this whole sob story about like victim points and shit. And that she went and told like the people at Buckingham Palace, like the medical health professionals, the team of doctors that they have there or whatever.
Oh, they went to hospital.
And they just were like, just shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. That's not like a thing. It looks bad for the family. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Right? And Piers Morgan, who doesn't really, like, he has some personal experience with Meghan Markle and just apparently doesn't think that she's a terribly earnest person based on his experience. And I don't know what that experience is, so I can't comment. But all he did is just say...
Dinner?
What's that?
Dinner?
I don't know. But he just basically said, like, I don't believe anything she says. Right? And then he clarified and he said, like, hey, I'm not really... It's for her to say if she's depressed. I'm expressing skepticism that she went to the people at Buckingham Palace and said, I have a problem and I'm struggling. And they just told her to fuck off. He's like, I don't think that happened. Which, I don't think it happened either, really. I don't know her, but like... And then so he's like this shitstorm on him. And she got him fired from Good Morning Britain.
I don't know about that. I think because there was like another altercation with another presenter.
No, what happened is that presenter confronted him, and then he just got up and left.
Yeah.
He was like, "Fuck this!" Right?
It's quite diabolical.
It's absolutely diabolical, right? And so no, and then they fired him because they said they had received a complaint from Meghan Markle. Basically, she called and got him fired, which is hilarious when she's trying to play the victim, and then like basically,
is that confirmed?
Confirmed
That she put the call in.
That's what the station said.
Oh, okay.
And the what's the super Orwellian fucking UCOM or whatever, the office of that's like basically investigates things on television and can censor you and shit in Britain.
I don't know. Not the FCC.
No, it's like the FCC, like up to 11, right? Like where they can just say,
The mind police.
You said this thing on the television, and so now we're going to fine you and fire you and all that. Like, they have blanket carte blanche to do that shit. They said that, too, that, like, she complained, which is a roundabout way of saying that she's, like, pulled some strings.
What pull does she have? She's not part of the royal family anymore.
I don't know. What pull does she have? Obviously, she has some pull because people give a shit about what she says, Oprah or whatever. And so, whatever the reason that they chose to like fire him, they didn't say they fired him because of that, but it was pretty evident that it's like they got mad because he walked off air, and then she made a call and complained about him, and then he didn't have a job anymore. And it's like, I don't really see her as the victim in this situation when she's clearly the one exercising some sort of institutional authority to get someone fired. He hurt her feelings, which is whatever. Her feelings can
And
be...
he got hurt for some reason.
Right, yeah, because he's just kind of... He's a little triggered about shit. But like, yeah, he got all upset, and he just, like, said that, hey...
I like that video where he got owned. He was talking to somebody from Glasgow. I think he was, like, the PM or something there. About Churchill. It's like, fucking he got owned. He got slammed dunked. I was like, bam.
I didn't see that one.
It's pretty good. I'll show it to you later.
Is it, I don't know, what's his position? It's like...
Oh, Winston Churchill is a great man, this and this, and you claim that he's a racist and...
Piers Morgan said that?
Yeah.
Oh.
And you claimed he's a warmonger and all this stuff, and he's like, yeah, there's a lot of evidence proving this.
Yeah, I don't know that I go so far as to say he's like a warmonger or whatever, but I think that there is definitely a cult of Churchill.
Yeah.
And that some of that really doesn't hold up to very close scrutiny. And in this country, I think it's Abe Lincoln. I think Lincoln.
Honest Abe?
Honest Abe was not a good dude.
Oh, wait, hold up.
Not by most measures.
He got that mole, bro.
Yeah, he was not so great. Not in the relative scope of presidents. He did some pretty horrible shit that I think is fairly unforgivable. But, you know, slavery, he, like, ended that, even though he apparently didn't really care about that. He was like, whatever, it's like an aside, like, he had this plan, like, he said that, like, his plan was, like, if the Civil War won, that he was just gonna put all these, like, black people, like, all the slaves, all of the black people in America, like, on a boat, and just, like, ship them off to this fucking island, like, where they could just, like, go away, because he didn't want them in the country anymore. It's like, that's not, like, an anti-slavery position. It was just like, I mean, like, that's cool if we end it, but, like, we got to get rid of these colored folk in the country because they're not doing any good. But I think it's similar with Churchill, where people just kind of like have this whole cult of Churchill, and he's definitely like a for God and country kind of guy. And so but I don't think that he's necessarily off base by saying, like, because come on, man, like, it's like, oh, it would look bad for the royal family. It's like, seriously, like, if you wanted to keep that shit under wraps, you're the royal family. You have your own
I don't know, like, the fucking other son's doing pretty crazy shit. Banging, like, minors and shit like that.
Right, which is all the more reason that they wouldn't be like, oh, you need to be treated for depression privately by our doctors that we have on staff who are, like, have confidentiality, like the equivalent of HIPAA laws and shit, and they can't, like... that would, like, likely never get out. And even if it did, like, the stigma of, like, depression is not really I don't believe that as old and stuffy as maybe Buckingham Palace is, that their attitude would be like, just shut up and quit complaining about shit. I'm really skeptical that people that work for the crown would take such a calloused and cavalier approach to her, like, pouring her heart out and saying she has a problem. Yeah, I just don't...
Keep calm. Carry on.
And I think it's nice that somebody that's, like, from their country actually would be like, yeah, that's horseshit. That wouldn't happen. Like, I'm skeptical because you're kind of full of shit as a general rule. And so, fine, you're depressed. No one debates that. But, like, that you went and sought help and they just told you to fuck off. I think there's a lot more other things going on there, which is, like, they're not really part of the royal family. They're trying to become, like, this American royalty and, like, separate, and it's, like, win-win for everybody. Like, they get rid of them and they get to, like, have all these victim points over here, and they're fine to let them have their victim points. And then there's a way, whatever, she's an actress or whatever she is, but I guess she's trying to say that it's because she's black, which, is she black? She's not black, right?
She's, like, half black, I think.
Is she? Okay, I don't know, but... I don't know. It's just like, okay, great. It's just easy to pick on the royal families are old stuffy old fogies and shit, but I don't unabashed racism. You're black and fucking no one cares about you. Like, I just don't believe that would happen that way. I think that that's a reasoned response to that claim, and that he said so publicly, I think, is at least somewhat laudable, even if I'm sure he was kind of like a whingy little twit about it, which he usually is. But anyway, so I thought it was amusing.
Cool.
Fucking Piers Morgan, man. Never thought I'd be defending that guy about anything. He's such a cunt.
Whoa, hey.
Well, not
in a
really.
good way, right? Like, they use it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like a cunt, like a British way.
Yeah, he's a
Like,
good cunt.
he's a good cunt. Yeah, he's a good.
All right. I think that's. Oh, look, we'll talk about the cigar. It kind of got drowned out by the booze. for
Yeah, a
me.
little bit. Yeah, it's got
A lot of that, like the hay, pretty bright. But other than
Yeah.
that, it just got drowned out by the drink.
Yeah, I get more like earth and cedar.
Mhm.
This back half is getting a little more cinnamon, but maybe that's the booze. I can't really tell.
Yeah, I can't tell.
But yeah, it's solid. I mean, it definitely is. Give it like an 8.4.
Hmm.
Really good, not great.
Yeah, most of the stuff I get smoked from them are pretty solid.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, this is somewhere probably in the middle for me.
mhm.
It's not as good as the Aganorsa Leaf Apollo. It's not as good as the Casa Fernandez. It's not as good as the... What's that other one they put out that's really good? But it's better than the Supreme. It's better than the Orpheus.
Hmm.
It's probably like somewhere in the middle. Which is pretty good. I don't know. Like when I see new stuff come out from them. And I will say that, like, you know, this doesn't really count for a lot, but it's a nice looking cigar. Like, it's just...
Yeah, the packaging is really good. It has that little gold foil around it.
Yeah, and the bands are just kind of nice. The lettering, it's got that little pigtail on it. The wrapper is, like, very seamless and has a nice sheen to it. It's just a good looking cigar.
Yeah, from far away, it looked like a Boulevard gold medal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because of the gold foil. Kind of like, oh, you got some bully gold medals? Nope.
Yeah, but it also kind of has, like, that, like, not quite Claro, but, like, not quite Habano, like, reddish, brownish, like, tint to it, which is always, like...
Almost a Colorado tint to it, but not quite. Definitely on the blonde side, so...
Yeah, like somewhere between a Colorado and a Claro.
Mhm.
But no, yeah, it looks nice. Seamless. I like the nice, like, you know, smooth and nice sheen to it. I don't really like those cigars that look like super, like someone like dipped them in like motor oil or something. You know,
Yeah.
like that, like the greasy sheen to them.
Yeah, it's a telltale sign that they steam it or do some adulterated things to it.
Yeah, because tobacco just doesn't naturally get that.
No,
like,
not
much of
that
it.
oily. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
its own.
Yeah, usually when it's like too uniform, like they're doing something to it.
Yeah, they're especially because it's like most like real Maduros that are like they're more of a matte color anyway.
Yeah,
They don't usually have
blotchy.
yeah, they don't. Yeah, and
Yeah, because that natural process it's a natural process, so it shouldn't be that even.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of not Gran Habano. There's some companies that were just like a jet black of a cigar. I'm like, I don't think it's supposed to be that color.
yeah, Camacho is that way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
LFD, it's like the super oily. I mean, like their DL series.
It's on the darker side, but it is blotched out. So there's some. They might be doing something too. They might steam it.
I don't know. They look greasy. It's just like super like oily looking. Like get that burn line where it's just like sweating around the burn.
Oh,
line.
that's more of like the Liga Privadas.
Yeah.
Has that fucking burn line, oil line with the smoke just coming out of that thing. It's like, whoa, what the hell?
It's like, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. It's like, that's going into my body?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I could forgive it if it just like tasted really good or something.
And was reasonably priced.
Did you ever smoke that Wavell, by the way?
Oh, I smoked that Classico.
The Lagoria Cubana?
Yeah.
Did it taste flavored to you?
There's a sugar tip to it. I was doing some research on it. There is a sugar cap.
Okay,
A sweet cap to
I
it.
looked it up and I didn't I couldn't I was like this is fucking flavored.
Yeah.
And I looked it up and I didn't find anything that was like it was flavored.
There's a sweet cap, definitely.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's too fucking sweet.
yeah, it's super sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a.
But
it was good to know because like a lot of people that are looking for the like
Rough Riders.
Rough Riders, it's not in that same price point, but it's like it's gonna get you there.
Yeah, it's like
If you're not a cigar smoker, you're
I think
kind
they're
of
under like $9, right? It's $8.69, something like that.
something like that.
But yeah, I was like, but that's what was weird to me is because normally like when I smoke a sweet cap cigar, like not only can you taste it, but you can kind of feel it. Like it feels like this, almost like pectin
Yes.
on your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really get that off of it, but I was like, man, this is just too amped up on the sweetness. It's gotta be flavored, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like too extra. And it wasn't like a sweetness of a particular variety. It was like a tangerine sweetness.
It's like a fructose.
Yeah, it's just like just generic fructose sweetness. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, that's just not like a flavor that you usually get
No.
from a cigar. That's not like, and so I was really like, I just smoked the one and I was like, am I like tripping? Is this like, maybe it doesn't look like it's aged out. Maybe I could like, because if it were aged out and you pulled it off and you could see like a sheen on the wrapper leaf or something where it was like aged and maybe it had some crystallization and it was like,
That's a plume. Yeah.
yeah, and it was like sweet, you could be like, okay, maybe that's a byproduct of the natural aging process of the tobacco. But then again, I would be even skeptical of that because it's general and they're not terribly thoughtful about like how their cigars will age out. They're just fucking just a hamburger.
Send it out.
Just a hamburger mill. Just
Yeah.
I get it to market and fucking sell it. So yeah, I didn't do like a deep dive to see if it was sweet capped. I just looked a few things up and it was like couldn't find anything. And I just figured I'd wait for you to figure out what was what.
Yeah, because that sweetness is kind of disguised like how kind of one dimensional that cigar is.
Yeah.
Because it's whatever notes that you get from that from toasting the foot is pretty much what you're going to get all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
But the sweet cap is so distracting or overpowering in that flavor. It's just like it just goes away. It's so bright.
Because it was just like so. Because like when I toasted the foot and like there was like, you know, usually you can get like a sense of the flavors you're going to get when you're toasting the foot. It's like it comes up and like wafts into your face.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, like it's probably subtle. It's you know, got some breadiness and some kind of like nuttiness, but it's faint, but maybe the draw on it will be like a little more intense than the toasting the foot is. And then I just like drew on it. I was like, this is just sweet. This doesn't taste like it smells.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, and so I was like really confounded because I didn't think La Gloria Cubana did sweet capped cigars.
I didn't either.
So
Yeah, I wonder that. No wonder why all that stuff doesn't sell.
yeah.
Yeah, plus no one ever kind of looks to La Gloria for their lighter end of stuff. So I don't know why.
Yeah, that's a good point. Most people like the R's and the N's.
Yeah, the Wavels are pretty good too. Like, or not, they're decent for what they are. Especially if you can pick them at a pretty good price point. They used to be sub $7 cigars, but I don't know what they are right now.
That's right. Oh, that's right, because it was the Classico. They're both in white boxes because the Wavels are in white
Yeah,
boxes.
they repackaged like the new look, same taste.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Gross.
Yeah, they got to do something, I guess.
I mean, it wasn't horrible. I'll say that. Like for a sweet cap cigar, it wasn't like. I mean, I smoked
It's
the
not
whole.
my cup of tea.
No, but I didn't smoke the whole thing. I was like, oh, just kind of mostly because it was just confusing to me. I was like,
what is this?
What is happening to me? Right?
I felt weird.
It's not an Inspirato white. Inspirato whites are fucking trash.
Yeah, I was looking at the little I don't know, tags on those boxes. I was like the description, not the description, but all the stuff that makes up the cigar. It was like, that sounds like a decent cigar, right? Has like a Ecuadorian Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
There's Nicaraguan tobacco in it.
Yep.
And I'm like, huh.
And I want to say it's Indonesian binder, isn't it?
Yeah. So that makes for a good cigar.
It should.
Usually.
You would think.
Usually.
But they're just like, no, they just like went to the companies that like use them for cigar. Like, what do you guys got left over? What do you got?
What's on the floor?
We gotta be able to say that it's this.
Yeah.
It's like, nope. Ugh. It's like the antithesis of the Antiquidad.
Yeah, I trust your judgment on that cigar, but it's so like I'm looking at that thing. It's like, do I just want to just try it just to see
The Inspirato.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be bad.
You should just to like experience how bad it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's like so you gotta bang a 4 every now and again to appreciate an 8.
Hey, who knows? It could be just the Aladino.
It could be. Yeah.
It's like, huh, these are really good.
It was so fucking. I only smoked like half of one.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's very few cigars do I ever just like put down categorically.
Yeah, I might bite the bullet and just try one just to see.
I don't know how long have those been in there. Maybe it was like aged out and all super good now.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
But no, I don't. Look, I don't ever smoke the tubo. I smoked the ones that were just in the cello, the regular robusto. But yeah, it was fucking rough going, man. Like from the light up to like the midpoint, I was like, this.
So any of those Inspirato wines you don't like at all? Like
I
the
don't like
red,
any
the
of them,
black,
but the white and the black were terrible.
Oh, okay.
They were fucking terrible. And the orange and the red were like subpar. You know, I'd give them like a 4.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't good, but it was like, okay, it's not terrible. And I haven't smoked the green, so
Yeah.
I don't know how that is.
Since we've been going like lower in stock, people are like, the bits are kind of picking at the bones a little bit, and people are starting to smoke the Zeno Platinum, and that's my litmus test. Like, how'd you like that cigar? So it's all right. He's like, you don't know what to talk about anymore. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Go away.
I did not know there was Davidoff. I was like,
do not recommend me cigars. You don't know anything about cigars.
Yeah, that cigar is fucking good.
Yeah,
it's because with employee discount, it's like $17.50. I think.
Yeah,
and it's like, all right, probably worth $17.50.
Yeah,
it's like a 2-hour smoke.
Yeah, it's good. Like once a month to have that cigar. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, I smoked 2 of them in like 5 days. I was like, because I smoked it, I was like, fuck, that's good, man. Get another one.
Yeah,
it was sort of like when the Hoten first came out, and it was like, this is $20 for. All right, Illusion, let's see what's okay.
All right,
You're
all right.
We'll buy another one of these pretty soon.
I need to probably pick up a couple before they're gone.
Of the what?
The Xeno Platinums.
They're good, yeah.
Yeah, and I think they've been sitting down for a while. I think they've been in that little cubby hole for a couple of years.
Yeah. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's just like they're, But yeah, I should buy a few of them just to have them, stick them in my locker at Aloni.
Yeah.
I have some Hotens in my locker that have to have, I think they're from original release.
Okay.
Because the cellos are fucking like, I think I told you this. I smoked one. A customer at Aloni, he buys them occasionally. And he came in and he bought one and he took the cello off and he tossed it on the counter and then he went and sat down and I was looking at the cello and I was like, man, that's fucking dark as fuck. And I went back and I was like, Denny, what are you smoking? He's like, oh, I'm smoking one of those Hotens. I'm like, how is it? He's like, it's pretty good. And I'm like, dude, this is the cello on this. Like, this cigar has only got released in 2017. It's like a Claro. And like, look how dark that wrapper is. He's like, yeah. I was like, man, these have to be original release. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty good. And so I went and I got one. I lit it up and I got like halfway through and I just walked over and grabbed the rest of the box. So I'm fucking buying the rest of these.
These are mine.
Yep, put them in my locker.
Yeah.
So I'll have to break those out pretty soon. We should go in on some Cubans soon. I'm getting kind of low.
Yeah, same here. My humidor is low.
Yeah, we should get some Cubans. Maybe some Bolivars, maybe some Trinidad. Something.
Yeah, pick up this cigar. It's like an online cigar. It's called a Private Stock. Have you heard about them?
I don't think so.
Davidoff makes them. I don't know if I think it's a medium filler from Davidoff. So I was like, I'll try that out.
They're only like $14.
No, I think like a box of 20 goes for like $70 or 65, something like that. I gotta double check. But
yeah, because even Davidoff scraps are likely to be pretty fucking good still.
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know though. Like some of their stuff that their lighter stuff is really just like so nuanced that it's just like almost flavorless to me. Like their really light stuff, like especially their stuff for like the Asian market and stuff. It's like just I get nothing off of it.
I don't know. I haven't tried those.
It's like
yeah, because they do make some of my favorite cigars. Like I think about it, and like Davidoff does make a lot of my favorite cigars.
Like for me, the white label is good, but only in the Lonsdale. Like when I can get a lot of the wrapper leaf flavor. But if you get like Robusto or thicker, it just hollows out and it just tastes super empty to me. Sort of like when you smoke the Antiquidad in any size, or not the Antiquidad, the Opulence. You know, when you smoke it in the Gordo, it's like, man, it's like, it's there, but it just lacks a little bit of like, I don't know what it is. It's like it smokes really good in the Toro and like okay in the Robusto, and then the Gordo is just like a little bit too thick, and it just doesn't smoke as well. I don't know why. And some cigars are like that, and I find that with the Davidoffs, like anything over like a 48 ring gauge on those white labels, just the flagship Davidoffs or whatever, they just taste.
Yeah, I like the
nuanced.
Robusto. I never had anything bigger than a Corona or Robusto. So
yeah, like I smoke
because it's like they're so expensive. I'm like,
yeah, I smoke the number 2 Tubo typically. I think it's a Lonsdale, and I really like that cigar. But I've tried it in other sizes. Yeah. Any size, the late hour is good. The late hour is a fucking good cigar.
Yeah, it's a great cigar
across the board.
Late hour, the Oros, the Maduros they make. I forgot what they're called. That one is probably like the best Maduro ever. It's so fucking good.
The Yamasa is really good too.
Yeah, that one's good too. I'm trying to think. There's a whole. They make a ton of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's hard for me to run into a Davidoff I don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely times where you shouldn't be smoking it, but for the most part, they're usually in your lineup of cigars during the day. They're usually your first or second cigar, usually. Unless it's the late hour, that can stand up to most.
Or the Yamasa, usually can smoke those. Or the Nicaragua, which I'm not a huge fan of those.
That is the most middling cigar to me.
My uncle loves them.
Oh, really?
He's like, yeah, they're great. Like,
yeah, it's most middling. The thing that brings out those cigars most of the time are just the construction.
Yeah.
Is just flawless every time. I haven't had a bad one yet, but you'll always run into one that's a fluke. But I wish I could smoke more of them, but I can't.
Yeah. Cost prohibitive. Mm-hmm. But then again, they weren't priced at what they were, they wouldn't be as good as they are. It's the same thing with the Padron family series. Mm-hmm. It's like
you're almost guaranteed to have a good smoke.
I mean, I think it's
draw construction.
I think it's like so close to almost perfect that you can just say guaranteed. You could just say guaranteed, as close as anything can be.
I've had some bunk ones, but
but
I've smoked a lot more Padrones than anything else.
Right. Over the course of 10, 15 years, you've had. Would you even need to count it on two hands?
No.
And we're probably talking
thousands of dollars of cigars,
hundreds of cigars, maybe even 1,000 cigars. Mm-hmm. Like let's just call it several hundred Padrones, and you're talking about basically 1% maybe.
Yeah.
If something's 99% there, you can call that a guarantee. I think you can say it's a guarantee you're going to get.
I guarantee.
I guarantee you that.
Yeah, sometimes it's people get super. How come it's not dry? It's it's a handmade product. I don't know what to tell you. It's not a guarantee all the time, unless you're paying big bucks for that. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Your $2 cigars plugged.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
No, it really irks me when people just won't directly say. I told you this happened with a Padron. A guy came in. And
look at this. Look at it.
It's not drawing.
Let me see.
Okay. You need to tell me what it is that you want. You can't just.
It's not drawing.
I know that. You said that already.
See.
Man, this guy came in today to fucking Aloni, man, and it's he comes in every Saturday and he gets his cooler that he leaves on Friday night for people to drink. He leaves his cooler Friday nights. They have cookouts.
Oh, okay.
After hours, and people put beer in the cooler, and then he leaves the cooler, and the employee puts it in the back, and then he comes on Saturday and he picks up the cooler. Oh. And today he comes in, and he's like, yeah, do you guys have HRs? We rearrange some stuff at the shop. Kevin Chan did that, right? He does that all the time. He just picks at stuff and rearranges stuff. Yeah. It's his thing.
Yeah.
And so he comes in and he's like, yeah, you guys have HRs? And I'm like, yeah, they're on the shelf. He's like, well, where are they? They're not where they were. I'm like, I don't know. He was like, they were here on the table last night. I'm like, well, the table's gone now. And he's like, well, I just do you have them? The HR Connecticut's? And I was like, dude, they're on the shelf. Just look on the shelf for what you want. He's like, well, I just where are they? And I was like, dude, and I was being kind of cheeky with him, but I was getting kind of annoyed. I was like, do you need me to fucking hold your hand through this process? They're right over here.
I can't find them.
He's like, no, that's not it. I'm like, these are Claros. You said HR Connecticut's. And he's like, well, it's a Connecticut. And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, you know what? Actually, I was just rearranging some stuff in this top stock, and I saw something without a band on it that was above the HR stuff. I bet you that's what you're talking about. So I get up there, and I'm like, okay, you're talking about this. And he's like, no, that's not the right number. It was 1507 was the number I had. And I'm like, that's not what this is. So it's probably not what you want. He's like, well, we had them last night. And I'm like, okay, well, And I'm like, oh, we're gonna like look up, and I'm like, okay, 1507 is some completely different cigar. It's like not what you're saying it is. So you're wrong on one front or another. I don't know which front. What do you want from me? He's like, well, so I get up there and I dig around, and I'm like, okay, so like these ones, I guess these probably aren't Connecticut's. They look like Connecticut's, but they're not. There's other ones, and I was like, so it's 5017, and it's just like this whole ordeal where he could have just like been direct with me. It's like where is it? I don't fucking know. It's like, and you've been to Ohlone. It's not like even at West Coast. Like we don't have a ton of shelf space.
Yeah.
You can look over every single cigar we have in about 30 seconds. And he just couldn't be. He spent more time arguing with me about it than it would have taken him to just find what he fucking wanted.
Yeah.
It's like, oh Jesus, fuck, man. It's just like, god damn. It's so fucking irritating. It's like
there's certain customers that used to show up the shop where their cigars that they regularly get are there, but they're so in their head. It's like, I've been looking all over it. Where are they? Where are their Olivas? They're right in front of you.
Yeah, it's
You're looking right at it.
We moved the flavored stuff to the island.
Yeah,
it's literally like 5 feet from where.
Oh my god!
People walk in and turn right and look, and they just like walk out and go like, "Where are the Javas?" Well, they're in there. Well, I just like they weren't where they were. It's like, why don't you just fucking take a look around for like all you literally would have had to do is just do this.
Oh,
and turn your head 60 degrees and you would have fucking seen them. But instead you just come out and throw a tantrum at me. It's like, God, Jesus.
Look with your eyes, not with your mouth.
Yeah, I almost said that to that guy. Like he's literally almost said that to him today. I was like, look with your fucking eyes and not with your mouth. Like just
where are they? I can't find them.
So fucking tedious sometimes.
Fucking little babies, dude. Seriously, it's like you can't just walk around. It's gonna burn that much calories out of you.
Yeah. And generally speaking, the people that like are like that, it's like you could stand to burn a few extra fucking calories. Do a couple laps in the humidor, fatty.
Yeah.
Like just fat fucking whiny crybabies. It's like, god damn.
I can't find it. Like the first second I come in here. Oh.
And it's just like the thing, go like, do you have a question for me? Oh, you've moved stuff. I'm sorry, was there a question there somewhere? Like
doing some cleaning, huh?
Dude, oh my god. If I have to hear one more fucking person, what are you guys renovating? What are you guys cleaning? Did I tell you about the guy that like he came in and he said that and I was kind of short with him? Like, oh yeah, because I told you this the other night. He came in and he was like, what are you guys cleaning or going out of business or something? And I was just like, yeah, something like that. And he was just kind of like, gave me this look like, what is this fucking guy's problem? And then like the guy right behind him like came in and was like, what are you guys doing, some cleaning or renovating? And I just kind of like looked over at the other guy and was like, yeah, something like that. It's like every fucking person that walks through the door needs to like commentate on like the thing that's different. And it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, you're the first person to ever. Oh, I didn't notice that. Thanks for pointing that out. Fuck.
Yep. Well, it was like
that stupid joke. Oh, can't find the purse. Must be free.
Yep. Can't find the purse.
Oh, wow, buddy. That's a really good joke. I should give it to you for free.
My response to that is that's how it works.
Yeah.
And then usually they just kind of like laugh. It's like, yeah, that's how it works. It's like, yep.
Oh, it did work. Yeah.
It's like my diatribe about the fucking. This is what I don't get is we don't really get weather in California. And so it irritates me. It's like 3 degrees above like the average temperature. People are like, kind of hot today. Yeah, okay.
Wow, a bunch of weather we're getting today, huh?
Kind of hot today. Pretty warm today. Hot in here, isn't it? Kind of cold in here, isn't it? Rainy outside. There's the sun. There's air. I got air. You want air? You like air?
Yeah.
Nice breathe air.
Yeah, for the people that don't know, like in the cigar shop, no one's allowed to smoke inside the cigar shop. We have an outdoor area you can smoke in. And people are constantly complaining about like the temperature within the shop. It's like, you're only going to be here for 2-3 minutes at most. Yeah. Looking around, buying cigars.
The thing is it doesn't even
it's like, why do you care?
It's like more often,
I wanted this temperature. That's why I put it this way.
More often than not, it's not even couched as a complaint. At least you could like respect the directness of a complaint. It's just like they're just stating kind of warm in here. Okay.
I'm not gonna change it for you.
It's just like, what? It's kind of warm in here. Like, okay, what is the purpose of that statement? Do you want me to do something about it? Because if you did, you could say, hey, is there any way you could adjust the temperature in here for the 2 minutes that I'm in here buying a cigar? And the answer will be no, go away. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, this is not for your comfort.
Yeah.
It's for mine. Because I don't have the luxury of, like, first of all, I'm not acclimated to the temperature outdoors, sitting outside all day. And two, I'm not wearing a coat and a sweater and a scarf and a fucking, like, beanie. I'm wearing, like, human clothes because I'm indoors working. And so this is a comfortable temperature for me. It's like somewhere between 65 and 70 degrees, which is human temperature. You've been sitting outside in 55-degree weather, and then now you're comfortable in that because you have a coat and a scarf and a hat on. And then you come inside, yeah, and it probably feels a little bit warm. I get that. Okay, great. Okay, I don't... Do you go into restaurants and walk back in the kitchen and be like, man, it's warm back here. What's up?
Why is this food so hot?
Why is this hot? You like turn off the stoves and stuff while I'm back here for 25 seconds.
Or people that make, like, I turn on the TV and play, like, lo-fi hip-hop. Because it chills me out. I like that. I like to listen to while I'm at work. Oh, what's up with this music? I was like, why do you care? Go away. I'm not your fucking teenage kid. You don't live here. I work here. Go away.
Here's the thing about this and why I just like here's my unsolicited opinions about stuff that you do.
Yeah, you can do that at home with your fucking kids and wife. I don't give a shit, but you can't tell me that shit.
It's just
like I'm gonna do anything about it, right?
Like
like, oh, you don't like the music I'm playing right now? What's
the deal with those clothes you're wearing?
Yeah.
Why are you wearing those?
Yeah, I would understand if there's like offensive music or something like that. They're playing like NWA and shit like that. I don't know. But it's not. It's just fucking ambient music. Who cares?
Some people.
Yeah, they just like want to nitpick at all these little things.
I don't think it's nitpickiness. I think it's just like they're just starved
like,
for attention.
Yeah, I'm not sitting at the counter like, oh, you moved everything around. I was like, no, the register's still back there. I didn't move anything. I just moved myself somewhere.
I'm just like, I'll come help you when you need help.
Yeah. I'm not trying to confuse you.
Yeah. I think it's just like a lower version of that, like that lady I told you that comes into Aloni who it's just like, yeah, she just has a comment on everything.
Got some glass on that fucking
just trying to just pick at you in any way to get you to like interact with them. And it's like, we don't need to like have this whole interlude of interaction. I know it's like primed in you to think that. And it's like some of the times, like some people are just kind of gruff and like don't, won't even make eye contact or talk to you in any way. And then sometimes I'll be like, man, those people are just kind of like rude and I don't fucking like that guy. And I know that like he has this veneer of friendliness, but he's really just kind of gruff and just dismissive. Then the more I think about it, I'm like, you know what, that's probably better than like just somebody that just needs to pick at me on the auspices of being friendly.
Like, how's it going? Okay, see you, bye. See you next week.
Here, I don't care.
Yeah.
Just go away, leave me alone. Like, yeah, okay.
We got those like, oh, pretty good, huh? Those guys, like everything's, pretty good. What's this? Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. It's like, are you asking me anything?
Nope.
No.
I really like these Gurkhas. Good for you. I was going on this rant about
what do you think about this Gurkha ghost? Yeah, I don't smoke those.
I'm straight up with people. Like somebody asked me this the other day about something. It might have been the Gurkha ghost actually. And they were like, yeah, what do you think about these? And I was like,
this band really attracted me. It's like, yeah.
I was like, I don't because it was like Camacho and then the Gurkha. It's like, have you had this Camacho? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, what do you think of it? I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like Honduran tobacco typically, so it's not my thing. So what do you think about this? I hate that cigar. It's like, man, you're a tough customer. I'm like, no, I'm just being honest with you. Like, you're going to smoke what you want to smoke. And if you
Didn't you ask me about my opinion?
Yeah. I hate it. I hate that cigar. I want it to die. And so, but no, I went on this rant about, good for you situation is like, because I realized there's no way for me or a person, because certain phrases are so ladled with sarcasm, and good for you is one of them, especially if you text it. Like that's very insightful. Good for you. I'm happy for you. Things like that.
Really?
You can't say these things, and they like, especially in text, they come off like they're snarky. Like, hey man, like I just like
I'm happy for you, man. That doesn't sound that snarky.
But if you don't know somebody, you just say flatly.
Oh, okay. It's just some stranger. Okay.
I'm really happy for you. Or good for you especially.
Or nice.
Like, yeah, just like I was like, man, why can't you say certain things? What was the other one? It was like that's really insightful. Good for you. And there was like a few other phrases where I was like, you can't say these things in text because people will just think you're being mean. And I was like, why is that? Like, nobody will ever take good for you or that's nice or like, that's nice or it's almost just like no matter what it is, you're just saying cool story, bro.
Yeah.
Or that's interesting. That's another one. That's interesting. Like, you can't just say something is interesting without someone being like, what the fuck is this supposed to mean? It's like, it's interesting. I describe things that interest me as interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Good for you.
Yeah, good for you.
Well,
anyway,
that was an interesting story.
I just wish there was a way for you to like
factoid there.
Earnestly say those things without having to like, because I don't know what you would say instead. I don't want to like. I feel like I'm in a position to feign enthusiasm about something. If someone tells you,
oh, that's the bee's knees,
you just be like, yeah, fuck yeah, that's awesome, man. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm just like, that's interesting. Like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna like feign interest in something like over emphatically just so you like why can't you take people at face value?
Why don't you just put hella in front of it?
That's hella interesting.
I was like, thanks, man.
Yeah, but
try it out. You gotta try it out.
But I feel like
just try it out.
But like it also, when you're speaking, it's one thing.
Yeah, just text it. That's hella interesting.
But if you said it and you emphasize how much you emphasize the hella,
that's hella interesting.
Exactly, that's hella interesting. It would sound sarcastic.
No, it's like how many people are hella people there.
How many people?
Hella people. That's pretty far. That's hella far.
That's hella far, dude. Denotes distance. Denotes quantity. Yeah. Denotes quality.
Yeah. It's hella good.
Yeah, it's hella good.
Yeah. Oh, that's hella bomb, bro.
Hella fuego.
The top watermark if something's really like hella sick.
It's hella sick.
Hella sick.
Hella stupid is up there too. That's fucking hella stupid, dude. It's a hella stupid goal. But yeah, hella sick is like, I just don't say
hella good. Well, hella sick trumps hella good.
Sure, yeah, but I don't say hella that much.
God, you just gotta try it out.
I don't want to.
You're in the right place, man.
I don't like
Can't
this.
do that in the Midwest.
I don't
Can't
like
do that in
this
Texas.
phrase. I'm not into it.
It's a good word though.
No, it was like my girlfriend noticed today. I was talking to my dad on the phone because I haven't talked to my dad in a while, and she was like, it's funny because I can observe that like when you talk to someone in your family, the longer you talk to them, the worse your grammar gets.
Y'all gotta check this out.
Yeah, it's just, I was like, well, no, mostly it's mirroring, right? Like it makes them feel comfortable that I speak their language, and so I can communicate with them.
Yeah, I do notice with talking to relatives, especially if they're from overseas, like it's not I change my grammar, the pace of my speech is different.
Yeah,
yeah. Even though they speak like fluent English, just the cadence is a little slower.
Yeah, there's certain things, like my dad says, after like every 5 to 8 words.
I know.
It's like, well, because man, like I just like hanging out, drinking some beers, because it's like a good thing to do. You get home from work and you're tired and you just want to relax a little bit. It's like, yes, I do know. Like, fuck, dude, that's a lot of and like 20 words.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying, yes. Yeah, that's a thing. I think it runs in my family. My sister used to be really bad at it too. She would just say after like every third sentence. It's like a tick. I guess like try to fight it. Like, I don't want to. When I hear myself on audio, like when I'm speaking to somebody in a voice message or video chatting with somebody or listening to a podcast or something, I can hear that I say way more than is comfortable for me.
Okay.
And I think it's just a byproduct of my upbringing. People in my family say, like way more than I do.
Uh-huh.
It's so much. It's like, oh my God. It's like 20% of what you say is asking me if I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You do say that. You know what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You get it. You smell what I'm stepping in. You're picking up what I'm laying down.
Uh-huh. All right.
Yeah.
I've run a little long. Not as long as last week, but it's still pretty good. Don't be a fool. Eat hella gabagool. All right. And calm down.
Shadowboxing.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to Mikey and the Press Pass podcast. Consider subscribing. You can rate and review us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and pretty much anywhere where you can listen to podcasts. And you can also write us with any ideas, suggestions, or horrible burning criticism at mikeyandthepresspass@gmail.com. Thank you.